Leader Shishir Khanal, Energy Minister Kulman Ghising, and representatives from Janata Generation JNG. RSP spokesperson Manish Shah confirmed that a preliminary consensus on electoral cooperation has been reached between the party, some new parties, Gen Z representatives and Mayor Shah. Following the discussions, RSP chairperson Ravi Lamichhane stated that details on the cooperation would be shared in due course. Former Prime Minister Dr. Baburam Bhattarai also met with Mayor Shah to discuss uniting alternative political forces for the upcoming election. Leaders indicated that further discussions will continue to consolidate political polarization ahead of the polls. Meanwhile, parties are actively preparing for election-centered cooperation. RPP and RPP Nepal recently announced a merger. Parties are finalizing candidate selection as the government and election commission continue preparations, making Nepal's political and electoral atmosphere increasingly active. Tribhuvan University TU celebrated its 51st convocation in Kathmandu today, awarding degrees to 16,380 graduates out of 89,591 eligible students ranging from bachelor's to PhD programs. The ceremony recognized 22 top performers across faculties with convocation medals. Among those attaining educational degrees, 11,234 graduates of bachelor's degree, 14 of postgraduate degree, 4,860 of master's degree.
The mass convocation of more than 16,000 students at Tribhuvan University was a moment of academic pride, but also a reminder of Nepal's struggle to turn degrees into domestic opportunity. Globally, Nepal ranks among countries most affected by youth outmigration, with skilled graduates seeking higher incomes and professional growth overseas. Yet, participants at the convocation acknowledged a growing realization the nation cannot afford to lose the very human capital it needs to develop.
अब एउटा कुरा त अवसर नभएर पनि केही हद त हो। अर्को कुरा के हो भने नेपालमा रोजगारी गर्नुभन्दा विदेश गएर रोजगारी गर्यो यहीँको सर्टिफिकेट लिएर भने पनि इन्कम चाहिँ वहाँ बढी हुने यो चाहिँ विद्यार्थीले सहज रूपमा अनुमान गरेको कुरा हो र नेपालको उत्पादनलाई वैदेशिक क्षेत्रमा पनि इन्टरनेशनल स्ट्यान्डर्डमा पनि इन्टरनेशनल लेभलमा पनि फरेन कन्ट्रिजहरूले पनि डिमान्ड गरिरहेको अवस्था सजिलै रिकग्निसन गरेको अवस्था भएकाले पनि विद्यार्थीहरू बाहिर जाने गरेका हुन्।
Amid the 16,000 plus fresh graduates, those who stay in the country are certain to battle socio-economic challenges to seek individual opportunities. Amidst the concern, Prime Minister Sushila Karki, who is mandated for 6 months to hold elections ceremonially, pledged to create more opportunities at home. For the first time in the university's history, a Nobel laureate was invited. Japanese professor Dr. Takaki Kajito called the fresh graduates for perseverance, reminding that small efforts do not bear immediate fruits. As Nepal celebrates its new graduates, their commitment to stay and contribute at home offers a rare glimpse of hope in reversing the country's long-standing brain drain.
Now, Christmas celebrations around the world this year are unfolding in unique and contrasting ways. In Nepal, Christmas is celebrated with warmth and community spirit. Churches in Kathmandu and Pokhara held midnight masses, while neighborhoods lit up with colorful decorations. Small Christmas markets offered handmade gifts and seasonal treats, and families and friends came together to share meals and songs, spreading joy even amid challenges like heavy rains in some regions. This festive resilience is mirrored around the world. In southwestern France, farmers marked Christmas Eve on a motorway blockade after 10 days of protests against government handling of livestock disease, even holding a mass under a bridge. In Caracas, Venezuela, high prices and political tension could not dampen holiday cheer as residents navigated crowded streets in search of last-minute gifts. In Havana, Cuba, Christmas lights struggled to shine amid frequent power outages, with decorations glowing wherever electricity or solar panels allowed. Meanwhile, in Australia, many celebrated Friendsmas, gathering with friends or joining community meal services to fight loneliness and foster a sense of belonging. In Nepal, Christmas In a city as diverse as Kathmandu, how do you think cultures remain visible without becoming symbolic or performative?
So Kathmandu has been historically multicultural. It has been shaped by millennia old migration, trade, and religious coexistence, and also syncretism. However, multiculturalism in place like Kathmandu is also quite asymmetrical, which means that while many different cultures are visible and present, some are more powerful and more visible. So while the people may interact, uh, cultural interactions happens on a daily basis, but it may not be so fully at a political level. But Kathmandu is an interesting case because it has a long-standing history of coexistence, everyday multilingualism, and religious syncretism. Even festivals like Chhat and Losar, which now occupy public spaces and more visibility in Kathmandu, is a testament to Kathmandu's multiculturalism. But it does remain quite asymmetrical.
What does the business-driven visibility of Christmas in Nepal tell us about cultural recognition in this multicultural, diverse society that we are living?
So the Christmas celebration for people, besides the Christian communities, which are quite few in Kathmandu and in Nepal, compared to the overall demographic diversity, it talks less about religious inclusion and more about market recognition. So it's a recognition via consumption, where mostly a Christmas is a season or a vibe rather than religious observance. The visibility is driven by consumption and it aligns more with the customer culture rather than the Christian communities enjoying institutional recognition. It's also, in a way, for different communities, has become a secular lifestyle brand, and it offers a sense of global modernity.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much for your time here on NTV World Primetime News, and also Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.
And there we will take a short break. More news coming up. Stay with us. You're watching NTV World and this is Prime Time News. Welcome back. Private airlines in Nepal have temporarily suspended flights between Pokhara and Jomsom in Mustang district due to low tourist demand and challenging winter weather. Summit Airlines and Tara Air cited risks of snowfall, strong winds and the off-season drop in visitors as reasons for halting regular services. Tata Air has suspended flights from December 4th to March 4th, while Summit Airlines has been grounded for the past 2 months. Charter and emergency helicopter services continue to operate. Officials also note that improved road connectivity along the Beni-Jomsom-Korola route has contributed to the decline in air travel. Mostang in Nepal's western Himalayas is a popular trekking and cultural destination, but winter conditions and seasonal travel patterns often limit flight operations. Bardia National Park is conducting its 5th tiger census, and authorities anticipate further growth in the tiger population. Conservation success is attributed to abundant prey, effective water management, and strong security measures, along with positive local community attitudes toward tiger protection. Officials say these combined efforts have contributed to significant progress in safeguarding tigers, highlighting the importance of community involvement and sustainable wildlife management in Nepal's protected areas. Nepali households are facing rising kitchen expenses as vegetable prices have surged sharply. Retailers report that prices have increased by nearly 300% compared to the same period last year. Seasonal vegetables such as cauliflower, tomatoes, leafy greens, coriander, radish and carrots have all seen price hikes, leaving consumers struggling with the higher cost of essential food items. Here's a look at the story by Bhavana Kisi and Pawan Barsha Shah.
अहिले नेपाली बजारमा गत वर्ष भन्दा
As vegetable prices have skyrocketed, kitchens in Nepali households have become increasingly expensive. Vegetable prices this year have risen by nearly 300% compared to the same period last year, according to in Kathmandu. Seasonal flowers and leaves are
Sudur Pashchim province in western Nepal has suffered extensive losses due to natural disasters worth property of over 75 million Nepali rupees, which is approximately $570,000 destroyed in 327 incidents between mid-July and mid-December of the current fiscal year. Fire was the most frequent disaster during this period, with 92 cases reported, resulting in deaths of 2 women and injuries to 13 others. The Sudur Pashchim Emergency Operations Center in Dhangari stated that property losses from fires alone are estimated at around $550,000. Heavy rainfall also caused additional damages, accounting for $17,000 in losses. Authorities continue to assess the impact and coordinate relief efforts for affected communities. International news coming up next. For now, a short break. At least 20 people were killed in a road accident in Karnataka, India, when an oil tanker collided with a passenger bus on a main highway in Chitradurga district. Authorities say the tanker hit a central divider before crashing into the oncoming bus, causing a fire that burned many of the victims alive. Police investigations indicate that the tanker driver was at fault, although the driver, co-driver, and some passengers managed to escape. The bus was carrying 29 passengers, including 15 women and 14 men. Emergency teams are continuing to respond to the scene, while authorities call for stricter road safety measures to prevent similar tragedies. Now, residents of Mogadishu, Somalia's capital, voted in local council elections for the first time in over 5 decades, a historic milestone in the country's democratic process. Voting began at 6 a.m. local time, with long lines forming as about 500,000 registered voters compete to fill 390 district council seats, contested by roughly 1,605 candidates across 523 polling stations. Authorities deployed nearly 10,000 police officers and imposed a city-wide lockdown, including restrictions on movement and flights to ensure security. While Mogadishu's safety has improved this year, the government continues to face threats from the Al-Qaeda-linked group Al-Shabaab, responsible for a major attack in October. President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud described the vote as a new chapter in the country's history, though the process is clouded by boycotts from opposition parties. Heavy rain and hail overnight caused severe flooding and damage across Bodrum in Turkey's Mughal province, disrupting daily life and traffic. Several streets and avenues were submerged, making travel difficult for residents and vehicles. The intense rainfall led to the collapse of a retaining wall at a two-story house, prompting authorities to evacuate 9 people from 4 households as a precaution. Floodwaters also affected homes and businesses, with residents working to pump out water while emergency teams assessed the damage. Authorities continue to monitor the situation and warn of potential risks as cleanup efforts continue. The incident highlights the region's vulnerability to sudden extreme weather events. Now, huge crowds welcomed aspiring Prime Minister Tariq Rahman back to Bangladesh after 17 years of self-imposed exile, greeting him with cheers and excitement at Dhaka airport. Rahman, the son of former Prime Minister Khalida Zia, is seen as the heir apparent of the Bangladesh Nationalist Party (BNP). Supporters described his return as a moment of immense joy, reflecting the significance of his comeback in the country's political landscape. Upon arrival, Rahman shook hands with party leaders and activists, signaling his renewed engagement in national politics. More international news and sports update coming up next. Iran's Revolutionary Guards have seized an oil tanker in the Gulf, authorities have said, in what Tehran describes as part of its efforts to curb illegal fuel transport in the region. Iranian forces frequently announce the interception of vessels they claim are violating maritime fuel regulations, raising tensions in one of the world's busiest oil shipping lanes. The Gulf is a strategic choke point for global energy supplies, and such seizures often draw international attention due to risk of disrupting trade. Tehran has framed these actions as law enforcement, while critics argue they could escalate regional tensions. The incident comes amid heightened scrutiny of Iran's maritime activities and ongoing geopolitical frictions with Western and Gulf countries. Shipping companies are being urged to monitor the situation closely to avoid potential disruptions. Senior defense officials from Thailand and Cambodia met today at the Ban Pakard permanent border crossing in Chanthaburi for the 3rd secretary-level session of the General Border Committee. The meeting aims to de-escalate military tensions and address ongoing skirmishes along the volatile frontier, moving toward a formal framework for regional stability. Cambodian officials were received with diplomatic courtesy by Thai counterparts before the session. Observers from Malaysia and the ASEAN attached team monitored the talks, highlighting the regional significance of the discussions. While details remain confidential, officials described the atmosphere as positive, with talks set to continue on ceasefire measures and joint landmine clearance operations. China says its expanding visa-free travel measures are fueling a significant rise in international visitors, with tourists from 76 countries eligible for full visa-free entry and citizens of 55 additional countries allowed visa-free transit for up to 10 days. Beijing's main airports report record arrivals, with thousands of travelers entering daily from Europe, the Middle East and Southeast Asia. Visitors are drawn to China's iconic attractions, including the Forbidden City, Great Wall, Shanghai Skyline, and Chengdu's famous giant pandas and cuisine. In the third quarter alone, China saw 178 million cross-border trips, a 13% year-on-year increase, with more than 7.2 million visa-free entries, up 48% from last year. Time now for a sports update. The match schedule for NVL Men's and Women's Championships set to begin tomorrow in Kathmandu has been released. The championship features 20 teams, with women's matches in the morning sessions and men's matches in the afternoon. 4 matches will be played each day. The opening match will take place at 3 p.m. between Help Nepal and the departmental team Armed Police Force APF. In the men's category, 12 teams are divided into 4 groups, while the women's category features 8 teams across 2 groups. Following the league phase, quarterfinals will be held. The top 8 men's teams and top 6 women's teams from the championship will qualify for the Prime Minister's Cup NVL League. The final will be held on the 20th at the Tripureshwar Covered Hall in Kathmandu. And before wrapping up, here's a look into the headlines once again. Nepal finalizes election code of conduct ahead of March 5 polls, introduces green initiatives and post-election accountability. Nepal's Tribhuvan University celebrates its 51st convocation, awards degrees to over 16,000 graduates, ranging from bachelor's to PhD programs. Christmas being celebrated around the world with much fanfare. Churches in Kathmandu hold midnight masses, while neighborhoods lit up with colorful decorations. At least 20 people killed in a road accident in Karnataka, India, after an oil tanker collided with a passenger bus on a main highway in Chitradurga. Somalia's capital, Mogadishu, votes in local council elections for the first time in over 5 decades. Test for Somalia's first direct national polls after decades of indirect voting. And the match schedule for the NVL Men's and Women's Championships set to begin tomorrow in Kathmandu released, 20 teams contesting. That is all for the moment here on NTV World Prime Time News. Our next bulletin will be at 2200 hours Nepal time. Do join us through our social media pages and also get the latest update from our official website, nepaltelevision.com. I'm Sarah Sapsanamarai. Thank you for staying with us. Have a wonderful evening ahead.
Welcome to the studios of NTV World in Kathmandu. Public Service Broadcasting, PSB Nepal's new initiative to make Nepal more visible and audible to the global audience. Welcome on board.
This is NTV World. Facts that speak, insights that matter.
Telling the stories of a changing planet. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Exploring the heartbeat of Nepali creativity. This is NTV World.
The power of story shaped by technology. NTV World.
Unearthing Nepal's hidden heritage. Discovering the timeless Nepal.
Telling stories that endure across centuries. Where culture breathes, stories bloom.
When the world moves, we make a sense of it. NTV World.
Taste of Nepal. Every recipe, every flavor tells the story.
Journalism in the digital age. Fast, focused, verified.
Stories hold power. Stories reflecting life. Stories of the hinterlands. Reporting for NTV World.
This is NTV World. Welcome to News Hour.
This is NTV World. Welcome to Primetime News.
One story at a time.
Crossing borders, connecting voices, where Nepal meets the world in dialogue. This is NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Voices that connect Nepal to the world, bringing perspective, region and relevance to every story. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Stand by. Mic is on.
3, 2, 1, cue.
We are NTV World.
Minutes flight across 214 kilometers, we landed at the Simikot airport. It was a great relief to land in Simikot for us, who had spent few days in hot Nepalganj. The cool breeze welcomed us to our great expectations. According to locals, Simikot got its name with the combination of Simi and Kot. Indeed, it is the combination of Sim meaning wetland and Kot meaning green meadow. Simikot is a major point for pilgrims traveling to Mount Kailas and Mansarovar in Tibet via Hilsa. This is the easiest way to the Mansarovar, and thus many Indian pilgrims are seen here.
मेन त यो हुम्ला सिमीकोट चाहिँ तपाईको अब भनौं न अब कैलाश मानसरोवरकै गेटवे भएकोले एउटा यहाँ आउने भयो। अब हामीले पनि अब भनौं न तपाईको हुम्ला सिमीकोट चाहिँ अब तपाईको यो सदरमुकाम हो, मेन ल्यान्डिङ पोइन्ट हो हैन। अब यहाँबाट तपाईको पर्यटकहरुलाई जस्तै हाम्रो यहाँ रलिङ गुम्बाहरु छ, खारबुनाथ मन्दिरहरु छ हैन। अब जस्तै यहाँ तपाईको एकदम के भन्छ प्राकृतिक सुन्दरताहरु हेर्ने ठाउँहरु थुप्रै छ। किनभने हामीले त्यो ठाउँहरुलाई चाहिँ फोकस गर्न नसकेर बाहिर ल्याउन नसकेर मात्र हो। अब ल्याउन सक्यो भने पर्यटनहरु आवश्यक नै बढी मात्रामा बढ्छ भन्ने आशा छ।
We arrived Simikot with a throng of travelers to Humla, comprising some domestic and foreign tourists. Soon our team became a cozy group of travelers. We traveled together to Limi of Namkha, among the 7 rural municipalities of the district: Simikot, Namkha, Kharpunath, Changkheli, Sarkegard, Adnacholi and Tanjakot. The jeep ride in the gravel road is some kind of experience in this majestic terrain. However, we were disturbed by the landslides at various places of the rural road and left to travel on foot.
We arrived at Chowdan Foya after a few hours of walk, but our overnight stay was still a few hours trek to Dharapuri. We stopped at many places on our way just to capture the natural beauty of the place and feel the magic in the air. These hills and the spontaneous Karnali River kept inspiring us. And on the way we see many stories of hope, determination and struggle of the locals. It was almost dusk, but our destination was still at some distance. So we increased our pace, along with the local children accompanying us. We are thankful to these kids, without whom we would not have been able to know some of the very well-known places on the way. Almost 8:30 in the evening, we were still struggling to find the house where we were supposed to spend the night. Now our team was no more intact, as all had their own arrangements in small groups. We had no option but to find a place to rest for the night. We were overwhelmed by the humility and warmth of the local people. They offered a bunch of unknown travelers food and accommodation with open heart. This reminded us of the slogan, "Guest is God," in real terms. Not the most affluent of the societies, but very welcoming at heart. In need, but have the humility. Poverty-ridden, but full of humanity. We salute the rural folks who mess around the year in this inhospitable terrain for survival. The next morning, we all get together. Our next destination was Kermi. The whistling sound of Karnali flowing down somewhere, the rocky hills and the small trails like ropes attached in these hills. Risky and dangerous. Not the best of conditions for trekking, but that's where the thrill is. That's where the adventure is. The waterfalls and ponds on the way relieve us from our fatigue instantly. Chachara is one of the biggest waterfalls in this place. The soothing touch of the crystal clear water of the fall is refreshing. Our lunch was at Dade Kermi, where small tents were set up by the locals to serve food and some rest for travelers. The Chinese stoves used here are smokeless and must have eased the life of the rural folks to a larger extent. We had seen these types of stoves in Dharapuri as well. Before starting another long day of trek after lunch, we had a little rest here. Our journey to Limi is still a long way to finish. We also did not get any chance of hitchhiking as no vehicle was plying on the road due to landslide obstructions. Our journey was getting arduous by the hour, but we did not miss the chance to enjoy the natural wonder of the region. Agriculture and cattle are the main profession of the people here. People raise yaks in this rugged terrain, though they have to migrate in winter to find better grazing land locally called kharka for their prized possessions. We found herds of yaks at different places on the way. We even stopped at one of these grazing camps for a cup of tea. This place is called Lashin. The tea served here is special with ghee and salt added for extra energy in the cold temperature. No wonder some of us were enjoying this tea for the first time. To our great relief, we got the news that a goods-laden truck was heading towards Limi from Tibet of China. However, we still had some distance to cover to catch the truck. We all wanted to rush with the hope to reach there in time to get a lift. At the moment, we are at Chanso, where there is not enough place for our jumbo team to spend the night. Finally, we decided to spend the night in Chanso itself, as the way ahead was more difficult and riskier. Two families had set up their yak camps here and living in two tents. Our big team had to divide and accommodate in these two tents for the night. We squeezed in for the night anyhow. It's a beautiful morning with bright blue sky, surrounded by tall hills, waterfalls and the whistling Karnali. It was nothing less than a piece of heaven on earth. We mingled with the locals for some times.
गाह्रै छ पानी पनि यहाँ समस्या छ दाउरा पनि समस्या छ यहाँ गाह्रै छ गाह्रो त यस पुल पनि समस्या छ यहाँ नराम्रो ठाउँमा बसेको छ यहाँ चिसो ठाउँमा यस्तो समस्या छ
यहाँ हामीसँग धेरै चुनौतीहरू पनि छ जस्तै एक्सेसको कुरा गर्ने हो भने रोड राम्रो बनिसकेको छैन अनि त्यसपछि तपाईको सञ्चारहरू छैन बाटोमा टी शपहरू छैन त्यसपछि त्यही अनुसार जस्तै टुरिज्म व्यवसायको लागि चाहिएको तपाईको के भन्छ यो के रे ह्युमन रिसोर्सहरू पनि राम्रोसँग दक्ष छैन हैन
We had to climb up to the altitude of 4,800 meters to reach Limi. We decided to travel on horses as we were too tired to walk now. We managed horses for our team and set out on our way. We stopped at a beautiful natural pond, locally known as Selima. No one has dared to measure the depth of this pond till date. No one is aware of the mathematics of this ancient natural lake. We also moved ahead with the enthusiasm as to why. No one knows it. 2 hours on the horseback, we arrive at Nyalul Langna at an altitude of 4,800 meters above sea level. Surrounded by white mountains and hills, we found 2 Chinese trucks ready to leave for Limi. It took some effort to climb onto these huge carriers. Around 100 people had boarded on each truck. The local people were also waiting for the truck to depart like we were. The gravelled road and overloaded trucks. The ride was not very comfortable, but we did not have much option either to move ahead. After around 5 hours rough ride, we arrived at Halji village of Limi. Three villages, Tili, Halji and Jang, were collectively called Limi. It was almost evening by the time we reached Halji. The sight of Karnali snaking between the hills, symmetrical houses, green meadows, and the hearty welcome of the locals relieved of our fatigue. Cattle, farming and trade were the main profession of the denizens of Halji. Yak, growing uwa, a special grain used in making liquor, and traveling to and from Taklakut via Hilsa for trade is part of their life for the locals. Despite the beauty of this magical land, it's far away from tourism. Hardly 50 tourists from outside set their foot on this area every year. The millennium-old Halji monastery, built by Locha Warinche Samo, is the pride of this place. Monk Samo had built this monastery as the last of his 108 structures around the world. Monk Samo is believed to have died while constructing this monastery. The ancient heritage, at the risk of landslide, awaits preservation and promotion.
दायाँको त्यहाँ पहिरोको डर छ यहाँ हैन त्यहाँ बायाँको त्यही डोरीको दुख छ प्रत्येक ढुङ्गाको धेरै दुःख छ बिचमा खानु पाउनको पेटको दुःख छ यहाँ धेरै आवश्यक छ के छ यहाँ गुम्बा विधानमा त्यही सबै ती पुरानो लिङ्ग मूर्ति माटोमा लिगेर ती बिग्री जान्छ
We had the opportunity to see the local culture and lifestyle during our trek in Limi. What impressed us the most was the dress, including local bakhu, sonba, chino and quinoa bread. Mount Kailas and the Mansarovar in China are clearly visible from Lapcha of Limi. 7 to 8 hours of truck ride from Halji, we can reach there. We were very much eager to see the Mansarovar and Mount Kailas, so we went to Limi. But to our bad luck, the weather did not help us. We waited for some time for the weather to clear, but there was no sign whatsoever, and we returned disappointed. Had the weather been kind, this was the sight we would have been able to see. Our journey to Limi thus ended on a sad note. We head back to Simikot and Nepalganj and finally to Kathmandu. Back in Kathmandu, every scene and sight we saw on the way is coming back in flashback. Being in this place itself is a treat to the eyes and mind. You forget all the fatigue and physical pain once you reach in this oasis. Undoubtedly, Humla, bordering Mugu, Bachura, Bazan and China towards the north, is a piece of heaven on earth.
Today we have a very special guest joining us all the way from the beautiful hills of Virginia. Tara Linhart, an award-winning musician who is known for blending Appalachian bluegrass with Nepali folk sounds. Tara has performed on some of the biggest stages in the US and has a deep connection with Nepal's music and art. And joining her is Prince Nepali, a talented sarangi player, music educator, and a generational musician continuing his family's rich musical legacy. Please welcome Tara Linhart and Prince Nepali. So when Appalachian bluegrass and Nepali folk music come together, what do you think it connects to the bigger world, and what is the core of this music?
Music is music, and notes are notes. And the Appalachian music and some of the Nepali music, it just has some of the same groove and same feel, and even very similar melodies,
right?
And also themes within the lyrics, and so they blend really well. And so I think it's hopefully it'll be more and more, but there should be a lot of cross-fertilization of ideas between the two musics, because they sound great. Mm-hmm. I mean, we play a Nepali song and then a Appalachian song, and it sounds similar, same.
And so you're saying that American folk instruments and Nepali folk instruments are somehow parallel to each other.
They work really well together. And the Nepali sarangi, we recorded it, a friend of mine, Danny Nicely, and I, we recorded a bunch of sarangi music many years ago, probably a little after 2000 or something. And we brought just the sarangi music without the bansuri and the model. Mm-hmm. And we brought it back to America, and we played it for some of the Appalachian style, like bluegrass in old time, we call it the paharakogit, from the Appalachians. We played it for the professional violin players. We call them fiddle players there. And we said, where do you think this person is from? What is this? And they said, well, it's definitely Appalachian fiddle playing. I almost know the song, but I don't know the song, so it must not be in my state. It must be in the next state over, because it's, I almost feel like I know it, but I don't. And then we said it's a sarangi and it's in Nepal, and they'd be like, blew their minds, because it's so similar.
So fiddle is from another, you're from Virginia, right?
Yes.
So fiddle is this instrument called fiddle from another state, or how does it work?
A violin, so in English, it's very funny, the history of English, we have two words from many things. Mm-hmm. We have the fancy sounding formal word, which is from French, like violin, and then we'll have a more basic, the people, common person word, which is usually from German. So the violin and the fiddle are the exact same thing.
Same thing, yeah.
But one is from German, and so that's like what the country people, paharko manche, gaonko manche, they'll want to call it the fiddle, and they'll just play it, and they'll like to have people dancing, and they'll be like they'll play it like this, right? And then if you have really good posture and your eyebrows are up, and you play it, then you might play the violin.
Okay.
So it's basically like the country music, basically whenever you're traveling, you see the folk and the local thing, It's not like you don't have a proper posture to it, and then it's basically how the lifestyle is more about, how you play. The music is more about the lifestyle that you
and
find
for fun.
People. And also for fun, mostly for the community music and everything.
Like
we gather up. Play.
If you see, I spend a lot of time in some of the Gandharva villages, and when there's no audience and they're just them, they're playing because they want to play and they enjoy the music, and their kids are dancing and their kids are learning to play, growing up from a young age. And it's the same thing in the Appalachian Mountains, which is interesting, because a lot of the city people in the United States have no idea about Appalachian culture in the United States, which is quite funny. If you ask a lot of people throughout the United States, especially from urban areas, but any place that's not in that little middle Appalachian zone, if there is Raksi, if there's moonshine, and they'll say, no, there used to be, maybe 100 years ago, doesn't exist now.
I think
However,
people around the world have this misconception that Americans, even us, like our generation, they don't have culture per se. But like the sarangi, we have our own community-based musical instruments like the sarangi. The Tamangs have the tungna, the damfu.
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
we have the madal.
Madal.
So can you tell me
our
what
traditional
are
instruments?
Yeah, instruments.
Yes. So yes, we have the mandolin. And each of these, because the United States is such an immigrant place, a lot of them were brought over. So mandolins were brought over, I think, by the Italians initially, because the Italians were very well known for making them. I think the guitar came from the Spanish coming over.
Right.
The banjo came from Africa and was modified in the United States. This was also, the Italian mandolins had a big round back on them. But then the Americans, Orville Gibson actually figured out you could make it just concave like a violin or fiddle. So you have the basic, also upright bass is very common. So you have bass, guitar, mandolin, banjo, fiddle, which is violin. But yeah, so that, and people will just play on their porch the exact same way that like a Gandharva community would just play on their porch. They finished doing the farming, they play music for fun, and now, of course, with the evolution of post-industrialization, people are specializing.
Prince, what about the sarangi?
Sarangi is actually mostly played by the people here, called Gandharva. So Gandharva mostly came from the west actually, western part of Nepal mostly, and now they're all over Nepal actually, and I think Tara is actually has done a lot more work on Gandharva as well. So she's been like taking some documentaries from back then, you know, and yeah, I think the Gandharva people. So the king, like every ethnic group had their own jobs to do.
Right.
So Gandharva people were given the musical thing where they used sarangi and their vocal. So back in the days when there was no means of communications like televisions and radios, so Gandharva people, they used to go around the village, you know, give the message to the people. So basically by storytelling or singing the song, you know.
Bringing the news.
Bringing the news, actually, and going from village to village. Talking about me, I'm the fourth generation in my family to play this instrument. So everybody in my family is like, we come from a Gandharva family, and everybody in my family played like sarangi or madal or somebody singing, you know. That's amazing part of it actually.
So Prince, how did you start playing the sarangi?
Sarangi, was always at home, basically. So, so I used to see like my father, and he's been playing music all his life.
Grandfather as well.
So yes.
Family.
So
yeah, Mangar Kansa Nepali is my great-grandfather, and Ramsaran Nepali is actually a very big singer. I mean, he traveled a lot.
Ramsaran Nepali is a pioneer sarangi player of Nepal.
Yeah, he was a singer and a sarangi player. He traveled along with sarangi in many parts of the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he kind of like introduced like the metal string for sarangi, and sarangi itself as a lead instrument, you know. So back in the days, the instrument used to be only like accompanying the vocal, you know. They used to play, but just the melodies that they used to sing, you know. And nowadays it has been used as a leading instrument where you kind of like do solos and many things, you know. And they have like different styles of playing, like many musicians in Pokhara or some, they have like different style of playing. And also in the eastern part of Nepal, there are lots of people who have like a different style of playing. And yeah, when I was very young, like I used to see my father playing all the time he had like lots of different bands, and then he used to play in this band called Trikal, Sukarma, you know, and also was like traveling along with the instrument in many parts of the world. So whenever they were practicing, there used to be a sarangi just by the side, and I used to just go and pick it up, just, you know, noodle with something. I was like, I started really young when, like, I mean, he didn't force me to play anytime, but I was like so inspired by just looking at him, you know, how that music could change like the whole ambience there. So
it
also brought him to different countries and different places. And one story that I know that his father had told me was that he was playing a concert in France, and so he asked, you know, everyone's like, you have to see the Louvre, the big museum there. And he said, I wonder if there's any Nepali music in here, can we find out? And they went and they looked, and it was his grandfather. had been recorded as a child, and it was in the Louvre Museum, which is pretty.
Yeah, I listened to that music, and it was so amazing. That's what I'm like. What Tara told before was like the connection of like the style of playing. You know, in like most of the part of the world, when you listen to fiddle and sarangi, it sounds so close. You know, you cannot like recognize it's from Nepal or like from the US. You know, it just gets connected to you. I mean, in different forms. So. Yeah, and I started like when I was 7, just playing, you know, a few songs and just imitating my father, you know, how he used to play.
And then it became your passion.
And yeah, it became part of my life.
And your brother also is a musician?
Yes, my brother, he's a singer actually. He does play like a Nepali rhythm, like Madhul Dhime. But he's a very good singer. It's called Prijal Nepali. So he's done many commercial songs at the moment, and yeah.
My friend that I made the documentary, made a documentary called The Mountain Music Project, going back and forth between Virginia and our Pahar Gogit and mostly the Gandharva as focus. But he became a very gifted professional musician, and his father says the way that I got him to play music was I'd leave all the instruments out in the room, and I'd leave the house and I'd say, "Don't touch them," and he'd leave, knowing that if you tell a kid not to touch the instruments,
that's true.
And they watch their parents having
so
fun
nice.
with it all the time. You know, that's, some people think, I'm going to make my children play, and they'll give them some classical lessons or something, and they have to sit and they have to play for a certain amount of time. It makes the kids often get a bad taste in their mouth from it. But if you just demonstrate how fun it is, it's like a game you get to play, but you have to know how to play the game. Then all the kids want to play the game. They want to be involved.
Right.
And then also he got the extra thing where his dad was like, all right, don't touch that. And then as soon as his dad would leave, he'd look in and be like,
this is pretty amusing to me. Like, you all the way from Virginia, you as an undergraduate student, you were here in the 90s in Nepal.
Yes.
So how did that happen, and how did you meet his father?
Well, I have to say in the 90s, I did not get connected with the Gandharva community yet. I got connected with the Newari community. So I was here as a University of Wisconsin student, and I traveled with an environmental NGO called ECA around Nepal, which was very interesting. I studied tabla with Homnath Upadhyay, who I ended up meeting his son at a gig after we played together in America. And I also studied with Shambhuji Mishra. But I spent most of my studies in Bungamati studying wood carving. So I studied with Puniraj Tulador, which was quite an honor because he's a brilliant wood carver. And I lived with his family. And Shanta Tulador is now an amazingly good wood carver. And so is Purna Lakshmi, who's a female wood carver. And I believe one of the only full-time, like, really top-notch female wood carvers that I know of.
Bungamati is actually the capital of wood carving in Nepal, right? So you've not only experienced the music here, but also the other arts and architectures as well. So how were you interested in the wood
how
carving?
could you not be interested in wood carving? Like, I came to Nepal, I didn't know much about it, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, I have to do this.
Yeah,
I mean, it just blew me away, you know, seeing them working. And I was like, wow. Can I learn that? And luckily, the University of Wisconsin at that time had a program here which was very open-ended and pretty much let us study anything as long as we wrote a 100-page paper at the end. And so I ended up writing my paper just about Bungamati and anything I could find about it, because I spent most of my time carving wood. And then at the end, I was like, oh, I have to write my paper. But
it sounds amazing, though.
It's an amazing opportunity, and I still am connected with them. And they're like family now, because I've known them since they were little kids, and now they have kids. So their kids
so this early connection in your life with Nepal's art and culture is what inspired you to do music.
I actually decided to become a professional musician when I was at Kopan doing a meditation retreat, and I was not meditating very well. I was not having empty mind. Instead, I would sometimes giggle, and I was thinking about what I really wanted in my life, and I decided I wanted to be a musician. And I was studying tabla at the time, and the more I got good at tabla, the more I wanted to play melody and rhythm again from strings, because I was a guitar player growing up. And then I decided I love to travel, and I love to be able to walk up the mountains and fly different places. So I realized a mandolin could do everything a guitar can do, but it's more travel size. And so
Yeah.
I was sitting there pretending to be meditating on emptiness at Kopan, and I was actually thinking, yep, I'm gonna buy a mandolin as soon as I get home. That's what I'm gonna do. So my experience with a silent meditation retreat at Kopan for 2 weeks was I became a professional mandolin player.
Wow.
I don't think that's what they hope for everyone in meditation, but that was my result.
So moving to Prince, so you come from a very musical family, a family with a rich musical legacy. So how do you experiment and relate between something like this instrument right here, mandolin, and with someone lively as Tara? Like, how do you connect and balance between tradition and experimenting?
A very good question, actually. So for an artist like coming from a very folk traditional playing background, you know, so actually my family has been very inspiring in that part where you basically kind of like experiment with so many things. And yeah, as I told, like my grandfather, he kind of like started with some back then, like sarangi strings, you know, used to be a gut string, like made from intestine, like sheep intestine strings, you know. And slowly, like we nowadays, I think we like really use those strings. And then in few places we do, but and then it turned into a nylon string. People do play nylon string as well at the moment. And so we moved to a metal string, which is very easier to travel with and very reliable on terms of like doing big concerts, you know. So as we have to like mostly travel, play with a different kind of music, you know, I kind of like crafted my own style where I kind of like want to jam with some other musicians, and I probably like got very inspired from my father because he used to travel around and play with so many other musicians, you know. So
all over the world, yeah.
All over the world. I mean, he was like, I got so inspired from him.
Yeah.
So, and he used to sometimes jam with the mandolin, sometimes with the violin, and sometimes with some percussion. I mean, I saw so many musicians in my life where he kind of like connected to me, and then like.
And I think his family, all the members of his family have pioneered some of the new technology, and now it's taking off about, you know, putting a pickup on an instrument, playing it with a standing up stand, playing with a strap, playing, and the same thing with our traditional music in Appalachian bluegrass and old time music. There will be the purists who will say, if you tune your sarangi different ways, or use how far can you take it with pedals where it's no longer a traditional instrument, there's no right or wrong answer.
We find so many common things, you know, when you're hearing the fiddle tune, I find it's like, oh, I think I could play that in sarangi, you know.
Right.
That could be so wonderful to play, and some melodies are very connecting, like that. So like few melodies that I was learning from it, like. Doesn't I mean sound like Nepali song?
It sounds
so, yeah.
American folk music,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, we can do like this is an American song, so you kind of feel like it's a Nepali song as well.
Right.
You know, you have like very common thing that you can like hear, you know, from the sounds of like. So I probably find it like you have like so many wonderful melodies that you can hear like and connect together, you know.
You both are musical educators as well.
Yes,
so
I do.
how are you trying to preserve these traditional musical instruments and folk music all together?
Well, I just love to teach. I love to inspire. So I will, often people will come to me and they may even say, I want to learn rock and roll, I want to learn, and I'll say, great, we'll get to that. But first, let's try some Irish tunes and some bluegrass tunes and maybe a Nepali tune. And so I introduced them to a buffet table, is what I think of it as, of like, you know, when you go to a buffet and it has different kinds of foods. And I say, why don't we play some gypsy jazz, and we'll play some bluegrass and some old time and some Irish and some Nepali. And then you can taste the flavors. And 90% of the time, they taste some of these traditional flavors and they love it.
Yes.
And they want to play more. And I don't know about you, how would you go approach?
So I think first of all by playing, mostly inspiring people. So that's how I go first. Like first of all, I think I have to be like inspired just to play this instrument first of all, and then I can inspire other people as well.
It's not always the easiest way to make a living, music, but it's very fun.
I feel like everyone should
try it.
Try it.
Yeah.
Like just one musical instrument or go for singing.
I think, of course, I mean, if you're in Nepal and then also like any part of the world actually, you have like, I'm talking about Nepal, but you have like so many different instruments in Nepal that you can learn, and you can just like sarangi is one of them, and you have tungna, you have arbajo, you have madal, you have basuri, so many different instruments. And I think one of them should just give it a try, or just just as a hobby. I mean, it is like fantastic when you're playing music and trying to like play with other people as well,
What would you like to tell the world about folk instruments and folk music? Do you want to share something to the world, and do you have a message to them?
Yeah. Play music and follow us. Buy our CDs and listen to us on Spotify, of course, and all of those things.
You have to say something?
iTunes, whatever.
Yeah, actually, same as Tara. You just listen, I mean, have fun, just pick up an instrument, play, just get one instrument, and then I think more of it is like we're trying to do some like part of having fun is one thing, but we also kind of like inspire people like just to pick up an instrument, just to have fun with it actually. So
and even just follow your passions, even if it's not music. Perhaps your passion is drawing, painting, wood carving,
I mean,
any kind of pottery.
Those things that make.
Create something. Do something that brings you joy.
Joy, yeah, that's true.
Do something that brings you inspiration.
Yeah.
Okay, that is all for today, folks. Thank you for sharing your story and your sound with us, Prince and Tara. So it's amazing to see how music can connect worlds, from the Appalachian trails to the Himalayan hills. So thank you. See you next time.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Everest, I would say, is high, but it's easier to climb than Makalu. Makalu is a little bit technical. Kanchenjunga is very high. It's technical and it's isolated. Everest, you get internet on base camp all the time. Camp 2 is quite big. Camp 2, you get internet again. Now people even have internet on Camp 4. So I would say Everest is easier, it's higher, difficult for sure, but Makalu and Kanchenjunga are less climbed and they are definitely harder. Kanchenjunga was very hard. They have different challenges, but I think K2 is definitely more technical, more harder. So K2 has different challenges, but both mountains have different challenges. If I have to compare the two, K2 is more. So I'm planning to climb Shishapangma in autumn because China sometimes doesn't give permits out. It's better to climb when the permits are being given. And I'm planning to climb Dhaulagiri next year in spring. I always take one Sherpa, and I climbed in Nepal mostly with Imagine Nepal, one peak with 7 summits. I always go with one Sherpa because I think it's safer. I mean, when I send mostly, I just keep going. I don't need anybody, but if any emergency happens, then it's better to have a guide with you, and a local guide who knows the mountain. I'm strong enough. Sometimes I'm just going by myself. I do need oxygen, so they carry it. But I am a mother of 2 small girls, so I will not climb without the help of Sherpa. It's something usually mothers, like I haven't seen any young mothers on the mountain, so it's not, because it's not easy to leave your young kids. Anything can happen if you die, then who's going to look after the kids. But I have some sort of confidence. maybe people will not agree, but I know I will come back down for my young girls. And usually people say, how can you leave your young girls behind? But when I'm on the mountain, I have a difficult moment. I think about my daughters, that my daughters need me, so I need to go back no matter what. So I put extra effort. I'm more focused just because I know I have two daughters home. So they've been my strength, not my weakness. I think collaboration is very important. Like you said, Pakistan and Nepal has most number of 8,000 meter peaks. We can learn a lot from Nepal when it comes to tourism, because we are very behind. Your economy, you get in your GDP, most of the revenue comes from tourism, and we have beautiful mountains like Nepal, but we have very minimal revenue that comes from tourism. So we can learn definitely from Nepal, and the process is like everything. When we get to Nepal, to when we get to base camp, to summit, back, and then out of the country, it's like I love the process in Nepal. We are very far behind, and but we have tourism potential. So I think we can collaborate in that sense, where we can learn from Nepal experience. I don't see many Nepalis in Pakistan, so I mean we should like promote tourism of Nepalis also, and Pakistanis coming also to each other's country. There's definitely room for improvement when it comes to collaboration between the two countries, and I know we love Nepali and Nepali also love us, so yeah, we need to make use of that. I think first time the process of coming in, because in Pakistan it was hard. Now it's improving. As soon as we come in, it was easy. People are really nice. I think most Nepali I met are nice, friendly. They know how to communicate, and yeah, I think that was the best part, the friendliness of the Nepali people and the kindness. Hardship for me personally is being away from family. So Kanchenjunga, for example, I said is isolated. It's very far from connectivity. So not being able to speak to the family, for example, was the hard. I mean, nothing that I had no difficulty from Nepal itself or the people from Nepal, but just being away from family and emotional difficulty.
Experience has always been good. Nepali, if I say Nepali, I would say like धेरै राम्रो छ मलाई नेपालको टुरिज्म मेरो एक्सपिरियन्स धेरै मन पर्छ खुसी लाग्छ नेपालमा यस्तो गर्छु जस्तो भाइब हो I've loved Nepal. This country has accepted me a lot, and it's a pleasure for me to be here always. If we talk about Nepal, I think it's more commercial, and I think the tourism in Nepal is like very fast in Pakistan, but now eventually in Pakistan it's growing as well. But if I compare Karakoram or Himalayas, Karakoram are more like steeper and more difficult, more technical to climb, and the specific region and the moving glaciers and everything that make them more difficult, and especially the change of weather. So I believe that the Karakorams are more difficult to climb. I've seen a lot of Sherpas in Nepal, in Pakistan, who come to climb a lot of mountains. Mero sabai sathiharu Nepalko, every season they come to K2 and Nanga Baba and Broad Peak to climb that mountain, and they are one of the lead climbers as well. So, in Pakistan, there is much respect to the Sherpas. In Pakistan is so good. Sherparu sabai धेरै मन पर्छ पाकिस्तानमा यो सो सेम घर जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई त तीनवटा कन्ट्री त मन पर्छ तिब्बतमा अलिकति गाह्रो छ यसको पर्मिटको भिजाको अलिकति गाह्रो छ अनि नेपालमा त इजी पाकिस्तानमा इजी हो मलाई त राम्रो लाग्छ इट्स मोर लाइक Nepal or Pakistan friendship expedition, something like that. And I think it's a great idea. It should be initiated. And we are up, me, Sarvaz, Naila, we are one of the Pakistani climbers. And yes, of course, in Nepal there are a lot of climbers as well. So we can combine an expedition. We can launch it to Everest or K2, whatever it feels like.
I climb Nanga Parbat solo, also Broad Peaks. Then K2, I have one Pakistani climbing partner. Sherpa in last one day, just and Camp 4 to Camp 4, I use Sherpa. जिस कंपनी में मैं आया था उन्होंने कहा कि नहीं आप अकेले क्लाइंब कर सकते हैं लेकिन विंड बहुत ज़्यादा है लेकिन आपको शेरपा लेके जाना पड़ेगा फिर आखिरी दिन वो शेरपा साथ दिया تو الحمدللہ وہ شیرپا کے نے بہت سپورٹ کیا, شیرپا نے بھی, ون بھی بہت زیادہ تھا, تو الحمدللہ سمٹ ہو گیا اس وجہ سے. ماؤنٹین از ناٹ ڈفرینٹ, مشکل وہ بھی ہے, مشکل یہ بھی ہے. یہاں پہ لوگ کہتے ہیں کہ ماؤنٹ ایوریسٹ بہت آسان ہے, لیکن ایسا نہیں ہے. یہاں کے جو لوگ ہیں ان لوگوں نے کام کیا ہے, اس وجہ سے یہاں پہ آسان ہے. ادروائز آپ خود سے, جس طریقے سے ہم نے کلائمبنگ کی یہاں پہ, خود سے اگر کلائمبنگ کریں, آپ اپنا جوتا خود پہنیں, اپنے لیے پانی خود بنائیں, اپنے لیے روٹ خود بنائیں, تو یہ بہت آسان کام نہیں ہے. کیونکہ میں نے دیکھا ہے ایوریسٹ کے اندر, ایوریسٹ کا کیمپ 4 تک, بیس کیمپ سے کیمپ 4 سے سمٹ اتنا ہی ڈسٹینس برابر ہے. تو ڈیتھ زون کے اندر آپ 6-7 گھنٹہ 12 گھنٹہ آپ رہتے ہیں, آسان نہیں ہے. تو ہر پہاڑ کا اپنا ایک کھیل ہے. جیسا K2 ہے, K2 کے اوپر ایولانچ وغیرہ ہوتے ہیں, آئس فال ہوتا ہے, راک گرتا ہے. یہاں پہ یہ نہیں ہوتا, لیکن اس کے بدلے میں پھر اس کی ہائی بہت زیادہ ہے, بہت زیادہ ہائی ہے, اور لمبا بہت زیادہ ہے. تو انسان ہے بہرحال, وہ کیا کہتے ہیں کہ تکلیف ہوتی ہے ہر جگہ پہ, ہر پہاڑ کا اپنی ایک تکلیف ہے. تو بہرحال یہ میرے لیے بہت اچھا ایکسپیرینس تھا. میں نے بہت کچھ سیکھا یہاں پہ نیپال میں آ کے, کیونکہ یہاں پہ جس طریقے سے لوگ کام کرتے ہیں, ایون بیس کیمپ سے لے کے ٹاپ تک جو لوگ کام کرتے ہیں, اگر اس طریقے سے اگر ہم کوشش کریں پاکستان کے اندر, اگر ہمارے جو کلائنٹس ہیں انٹرنیشنل لیول کے جو کلائنٹس آتے ہیں, ان کے لیے اس طریقے سے پروفیشنل طریقے سے ہم اگر خدمت کریں, تو ڈیفینیٹلی پاکستان کے اندر بھی بہت زیادہ ٹورزم آ سکتا ہے. کیونکہ ہمارے یہاں پہ ایک پاکستان کے اندر ایک چیز کی کمی ہے کہ پروفیشنل لوگ بہت کم ہیں. یعنی جیسا ماؤنٹین گائیڈس ہے ہی نہیں کوئی, مطلب سرباز وغیرہ جو ابھی جو نئے لڑکا ہے, زیادہ سے زیادہ اگر آنے والے 2-3 سال میں یہ ایک آدھ ہوں گے. تو ہمیں انیشل اسٹیج پہ یہاں پہ کسی طریقے سے ہمیں کوئی ایسا ایکسیس مل جائے کہ ہمیں کوئی ٹریننگس مل جائے, جس طریقے سے یہاں پہ لوگ کام کرتے ہیں. اسی طریقے سے اگر ہم پاکستان میں بھی تھوڑا سا اویئرنیس کے ساتھ اگر ہمیں 1 سال کی اگر ٹریننگ دے دے, تو الحمدللہ ہمارے لوگ بھی بہت زیادہ تکڑے ہیں. تو کیونکہ جو کلائنٹ جو ہے وہ سرٹیفکیشن دیکھتا ہے, تو وہ دیکھتا ہے کہ یہ کتنا ٹرین ہے اور کتنا مرتبہ اس کے پاس ایکسپیرینس ہے. تو الحمدللہ ایکسپیرینس تو ہم لوگوں کے پاس بھی بہت ہے, لیکن سرٹیفکیشن نہیں ہونے کی وجہ سے مطلب فارنر جو ہے جو ہمارے اوپر ٹرسٹ کم کرتا ہے. تو زیادہ تر پاکستان کے اندر بھی نیپال سے جو شیرپاز ہیں ان کو لے کے آتے ہیں, اور ان کے اوپر زیادہ ٹرسٹ کیا جاتا ہے, ہمارے اوپر ٹرسٹ کم کیا جاتا ہے.
I like it when someone says you look like a Sherpa, or you say that some or says you are like a Sherpa, you're like strong with Sherpa. I'm very happy because in this world, in this our climbing community, Sherpas like brand. Yeah. So I'm very happy when someone says you look like Sherpa, or you are like Sherpa. Oh yeah, in 2021, in COVID time, he said, oh, Nepali or Pakistani passport. I said, oh, come on, man. I'm from Pakistan. So yeah, my look is like a Tibetan, and my mother from Skardu, and yeah, I climbed my first 8,000 is Nanga Parbat with Sherpas. Or maybe Invisaged is the first K2 winter summiter. And I'm lucky I climbed with Invisaged my first 8,000. Yeah, even I start my climbing career with Sherpas. So till now, I think 90% of my 8,000ers are climbing career with Sherpas. So most of my climbs with Nepali Sherpas in Pakistan, Nepal, and in Tibet, China. Like Tikcha, yeah, like this, yeah. Yeah, I feel when I come to Nepal, I feel like my second home, to be honest. And all Sherpas, even 80% of Sherpas, they know me. They know me. And I have a good relation with Sherpas. They respect. I think who are living in the mountains, almost same culture, same honesty, and yeah, little bit food is a little bit different, but yeah, I think who are living on the mountains, connect with the nature, so both are the same, but so we need to extend our seasons, like autumn. We have good autumn and spring also, but we have no qualified climbers, guides, so we need work on this, and then we, yes, inshallah. Alhamdulillah, because when I start my climbing career in 2016-17, and I climbed my first 8,000er Nanga Parbat, that time I announced Mission Summit 14 without oxygen. But later on Annapurna, Kanchenjunga and Everest, the last part, I feel the weather was very bad and strong winds. I use oxygen. So I repeat this year these 3 peaks, like K2 in last year, Annapurna and Kanchenjunga this season. So I'm very happy. This is the big, I think, in adventure tourism, like in climbing. You can say it's a FIFA World Cup, like when you are climbing without oxygen, without Sherpa. But we help. We need without Sherpa's help. You can say without Sherpa. So without oxygen, I complete my Mission Summit 14 and become first Pakistani. This is not for me or not my family. It's this record for whole Pakistan. So I'm feeling very proud. To be honest, after 8 years, I complete my big dream. I think this is sometime when I remember my all past and my climbing career, I feel very different because I came as a kitchen boy, as a porter. I worked as a kitchen boy 6-7 years when I was in college. So after 8 years, when I complete my Mission Summit 14, it looks like a dream. It looks like of course different experience because it's involved weather, it's terrain, But it's most difficult is of course Kanchenjunga and Annapurna here in Nepal, in Pakistan K2 and Nanga Parbat. So every peak have different terrain, different hardness, or it's difficult level is. Manaslu is like I think easiest mountain in Mission Summit 14, like in Pakistan G2 and Manaslu in Nepal is easiest. Sometimes it's like 2 years, 3 years ago, it's the BKO launch cam and even our team, 3 Sherpas injured. Sometimes it's, mountain is mountain. We can't fight against the nature. Like sometimes happen. Every mountain is like a difficult level is different. But sometimes easy. You can say this is easy, but it's like remember in Shishapama last year in 2023. Big accident there, and Gina from US, Anna, and one of the Lama, one of the best climber in Nepal, we lost. Sometimes it's happened like this. If you have manpower, Annapurna first. Between Camp 2 and Camp 3, you can't understand what happened. When you are climbing between Camp 2 and Camp 3, sometimes your breath level is like, I can't explain because I climbed 2 times, so I feel inside. So I climbed 3 times K2, but I think in Pakistan we have very strong climbers, but like trainings, even here in Nepal, I think 3-4 big like NNMGA, IFMGA. Like this institute, but in Pakistan, till now, single person we have not certified, IFMJ certified. But I think in Nepal, 80 plus IFMJ guides. So we need collaboration with Nepal or like Norway. So we need to establish some good institutes, schools, training schools. Then hopefully we have in future we improve in climbing and in tourism department. Nepal is like really they make good rules and regulations for tourists. What you need, is freedom. Everything is available. Yeah, every year more people. I saw more climbers visiting Nepal, and more ability. Like IFMGA guides, more they add every year, like 5-6. So this is a good sign for Nepal to boost adventure tourism in Nepal. In starting days, I faced very difficult because I have no sponsors. But Migmaji is like my brother. He helped me a lot, and yes, if I'm here this time in Nepal, and I knew because of him, he's helped like his brother. And Alhamdulillah, I hard worker, and God give me a opportunity, and give me success one by one, and now I am here. And after my 6th peak, I got first sponsors, local sponsor from Pakistan. Then till now I have because before 6th I visited 2 times in Nepal, once Manasu, once Lhotse. So that time Migmaji gave me an opportunity to come to Nepal and climb with my company, and I already 2 trainings from here, me and Abdul Joshi and Suhail from Pakistan. So in future, yes. But now I am getting old. So my plan is like this. I want to introduce IFMGA in Pakistan, the most important thing. We have no single one, IFMGA certified single one. So we need to establish some schools, some training centers. And I work with as a guide. It's different question. I think so. I don't like even too much branding, but I work as a ground level to establish one school and more people to involve in climbing, because we have potential. We have 5,000 or 6,000 and 7,000, even in Pakistan, unclimbed peaks also. So I want to try to establish one good school, and yes, I have some. I already start my book. So we are thinking about also a documentary, good documentary, not like maybe 20%, little bit up and down, but 80% I want natural to try natural, not like fake. Good friend, my partner, Saad Munawar, he's just 3 years before he climbed from north side, Everest. He's the first Pakistani to climb from north side. From north side. So he's a nice writer also. So we together. So from when humans are approached and interfere in the nature, there was. But we need to clean, because you saw nowadays last 3-4 years climate change, like you don't understand what happened on whole. But we have big glaciers. The most affected areas, I think, in Nepal and Pakistan, because we have big glaciers like Siachen, Himalaya here, Siachen, Baltoro, Biafo. So we need to protect also our glaciers.
Pakistani climbers today here, and this is also a shared heritage of Pakistan and Nepal, that out of 14 8,000ers, 13 of us, 13 we share between us. And K2 in Everest, you can see on the plaque that is also on the right on my wall, that we share this heritage. And recently I also congratulate Nepal for holding Sagarmatha Samvad, which highlighted that ecology and the mountains' fragile ecology is not a given, and we need to do something to protect it. And in doing so, I think we celebrate our climbers, and we also celebrate those who are preserving it and the geography of the region. Climbers, some of them are here, they can also join them, and then they can have a joint expedition both to K2 and Everest.
Music, dance, food, art and devotion are the lifeblood of Newar culture, an ancient civilization rooted in the Kathmandu Valley of Nepal. With lively festivals nearly every fortnight, the Newars celebrate life through a rich tapestry of traditions known as Jatra.
Sanati qui entoure nous, reflète couleur nous les cœurs, sans même risser qui nous bise à préserver, pour continuer à exister, sans même richesse, nous bise à préserver,
Mauritius is a small island in the heart of the Indian Ocean, where tourism is a major industry contributing significantly to the GDP of the island. Mauritius is home for 1.2 million of inhabitants, and today the country is targeting 2 million of tourism in the coming years, an economic opportunity as well as an environmental challenge for this tiny land.
Ce que nous faisons au niveau de la Tourism Authority, ça englobe dans la perspective du gouvernement, c'est d'aller vers une destination verte avec une certification reconnue d'ici 2030. Et nous sommes en train de travailler avec tous nos partenaires, avec les stakeholders de cette industrie en termes d'emploi. Donc nous comptons presque 30 000 emplois directs, mais si nous comptons au niveau aussi indirect, nous arrivons vers là-bas des 100 000 personnes qui sont liées à ce secteur qui est très prépondérant, mais aussi très importante pour la vie sociale, la vie culturelle de l'île Maurice. Donc il est vrai qu'il faut être prudent dans ce que nous recherchons. Nous ne voulons certainement pas avoir une destination avec une situation de surtourisme qui arrive dans beaucoup de pays, dans beaucoup de destinations, où à ce moment-là, il devient ingérable de pouvoir contrôler un flux où le côté management et le côté destination ne peut soutenir. Donc tout ce qui se fait au niveau de développement, même au niveau du nombre de touristes, on peut avoir les normes très valorisants, 2 millions, 3 millions, 4 millions, mais est-ce que cela va apporter un plus pour la destination? Ce qu'il faut comprendre et ce que nous essayons de passer comme message, c'est que le tourisme doit faire du bien à la destination avant et non pas l'inverse.
The hotel industry is a major player in the tourism sector, with more than 112 hotels around the island, amounting to more than 13,500 rooms. Thus, a sustainable tourism policy will shape the future of the industry.
Pour nous, aujourd'hui, nous créons un mouvement qui s'appelle le Positive Impact. L'idée hier, tout a commencé, la bonne attitude, il vient le premier hôtel éco-engagé du groupe Attitude. Nous avons envie de positionner cet hôtel-là différemment. Pourquoi? Parce que nous sommes très conscients qu'aujourd'hui, si nous ne prenons pas en compte l'environnement, le tourisme pas pour venir de nos pays. Donc, pour tout le monde pour voyager, sortir en Europe, pour arriver à Maurice, et ensuite pour tout les déchets, les saletés, partout l'eau, la plage, dans la mer. Donc, nous décidons de mettre beaucoup de pledges en place, et le plus important pour nous, ça a été d'enlever tout ce qui est plastique à usage unique à la vue de nos clients. Par exemple, aujourd'hui, dans nos bandes la SAM, nous ne pouvons pas mettre du café d'ici parce qu'il vient dans un sachet plastique à usage unique. Nous venons avec un concept, une boutique en vrac, donc un bulk shop. Les clients rentrent dans le bulk shop, ils ont un petit pot en verre, ils sont capables de remplir de café, de thé, d'ici. Et nous, en même temps, ce qu'il nous fait en parallèle, nous prenons dans sa pot-là, en bulk, nous avons un supplier. Toutes les chambres sont de gagner de l'eau à travers de l'eau chaude, à travers sa solar water panel. Nous offrons de la crème solaire à tous nos clients. Cette crème solaire, elle est fabriquée localement et avec des produits minéraux. Donc si vous servez la crème là ou dans l'océan, elle n'est pas abîme le monde marin. Nous avons d'autres actions aussi qui nous font, par exemple dans nos bulk shops, nous avons un filet bleu qui nous donne aux clients. Nous encourageons de prendre ça, de attacher ça avec le maillot. Je récupère tous les déchets que je trouvais dans l'océan, ramène-les ici, et ici quand je ramène, qui nous fait, nous séparons. Donc ce qui est capable d'être recyclé, nous envoyons les recycler. Ce qui n'est pas capable d'être recyclé, nous montrons comment nous sommes capables de faire dans nos éco-ateliers, comment nous sommes capables de faire des décorations avec. Donc beaucoup de clients peuvent venir aujourd'hui parce que de plus en plus, surtout en Europe ou même aux États-Unis, en Australie, les pays commencent à prendre de plus en plus d'ampleur d'être éco-engagés.
The hotel takes great pride in investing in a sustainable education and sensitization campaign to raise awareness and commitment from tourists as well as the local population.
Donc, ce centre-là, c'est un centre qui est ouvert au public. Donc, nous accueillons aussi bien les enfants et aussi les clients de l'hôtel. Et donc, qui nous fait dans ce centre-là? Donc, c'est un centre éducatif et interactif. Et nous sensibilise Bandimoun à l'environnement. Donc, nous sensibilisons pour protéger l'environnement marin et l'écosystème côtier également. Nous faisons une action concrète avec le client. Nous sensibilisons nos clients à la préservation de l'environnement. Qui action il y a à faire liée à ce niveau pour qu'après, quand il aussi retourne dans ce pays, il y a à continuer sa même action-là.
C'est vraiment un outil qui nous sert vraiment pour éducatif, pour montrer les participants qui viennent, les visiteurs qui viennent vers nous, comment ils ont été dehors quand on a fait le snorkeling ou comment ils trouver. Comment tout peut vivre ensemble, en symbiose, les poissons, les corail, comment ils vivent ensemble. Alors imaginez un coup de nous trouver une bouteille plastique qui peut flotter là. Il n'est pas joli. Alors c'est pour ça qu'il nous a vraiment, qui garde tout bien propre.
On immerge un hydrophone en bas de l'eau. Un hydrophone, c'est quoi? C'est pour en fait enregistrer le chant des baleines. Donc ce sont les baleines à bosse principalement, et c'est des mâles qui chantaient pendant la période de reproduction, pour qu'ils nous gagnent des informations sur les baleines à bosse, sur la reproduction. Et monte base de données d'un individu de tortues marines qui nous à Maurice. Donc ce sont des espèces migratrices et ce sont des espèces protégées. Vraiment un centre éducatif parce qu'il nous vient raise awareness avec nos clients pour que les clients prennent conscience de l'environnement et qu'il est important qu'il oui, il y a une île à Maurice, mais nous avons un écosystème riche. Nous avons beaucoup de coraux, nous avons de poissons et qu'il y forme partie, il y a un acteur dans sa mouvement Positive Impact.
The footprint of the tourists on the island will equally influence the ecological path that the industry will choose.
Alors c'est quelque chose qui se développe aussi chez nous. On essaie, nous, à notre domicile, d'être éco-responsable. Et effectivement, quand on va à l'étranger et en voyage comme ça, c'est agréable de trouver un endroit aussi où on retrouve ces valeurs-là, et même plus. Quand on fait des efforts chez nous, on se rend compte qu'à d'autres endroits, donc sur votre île aussi, vous faites aussi beaucoup d'efforts. Et c'est important de montrer ça, et c'est important pour les touristes de respecter ça aussi. Je pense que les touristes, à l'avenir, feront de plus en plus attention aux endroits où ils vont et à la pollution.
To improve the sustainable commitment of the tourism industry, the Tourism Authority in Mauritius has launched on a yearly basis a Sustainable Tourism Award, which highlights and encourages best sustainable practices in all sectors of the industry.
Nous avons démarré le premier Sustainable Tourism Mauritius Awards qui récompense l'effort qui a été fait par ces opérateurs-là justement pour aller dans la direction du tourisme durable. Et je dois dire que ça a été un succès parce que l'année dernière, on a eu 115 participants, démontrer la volonté de presque la majorité des opérateurs touristiques mauriciens d'aller vers cet objectif de tourisme durable. Et je dois aussi préciser que le tourisme durable, ça ne concerne pas uniquement les opérateurs touristiques, ça concerne aussi la population.
Mauritius is aiming to secure a sustainable tourism certification, which will confirm the island's commitment towards sustainability. The first step towards that certification starts in a small village in the south, Belle-Ombre.
Nous voulons que la destination Maurice soit certifiée d'ici 2030, certifiée par la GEST ici, la Global Sustainable Tourism Council. Alors, la région de Belle-Ombre nous sert comme cas pilote, donc pour faire cette certification de la destination, et nous voulons apprendre de Belle-Ombre, de ce qu'ils sont en train de faire de bien.
A sustainable approach in the tourism sector requires a sincere partnership between the various stakeholders, from the major players to the small villagers. Each one should work hand in hand to promote, engage, and also share the benefits derived from the industry.
On reste dans le village Saint-Martin, Belle-Ombre, petit village côtier, pêcheur et laboureur. Actuellement, on a 5 hôtels et beaucoup de monde pour gagner du travail, surtout dans zen. Et donc, du monde qui fait un petit entrepreneur, qui fait tout ça, bien aide nous. En fait, les bizarres win, avec aussi bizarres gagnants dans ces affaires-là. Moi, nous avons dans ces affaires-là, il y a un petit resto, un petit monde qui fait un petit manger tropical, un petit manger vraiment un petit manger PC. Oui, mais ça marche bien, ça marche bien.
Today, the world is an island, and the sustainable tourism development of one region will, in the long run, share lights of sunshine to one and all.
Nous la casse et nous îles, nous la mer, nous les ciels, la nature qui entoure nous, reflète couleur nous les cœurs, sa même richesse qui nous vise à préserver, pour continuer à exister, sa même richesse nous vise à préserver, préserver.
Christmas celebrations around the world this year are unfolding in unique and contrasting ways. In southwestern France, farmers marked Christmas Eve on a motorway blockade after 10 days of protest against government handling of livestock disease, even holding a mass under a bridge. In Caracas, Venezuela, high prices and political tension could not dampen the holiday spirit as residents braved crowded streets in search of last-minute gifts. Havana's Christmas lights struggled to shine amid frequent power outages, with decorations glowing wherever electricity or solar panels allow. Meanwhile, in Australia, many residents are celebrating Friendsmas, gathering with friends or joining community meal services to combat loneliness and foster a sense of belonging. From festive gatherings and adversity to creative celebrations in the face of isolation, this holiday season highlights both the challenges and resilience of people worldwide. Pope Leo celebrated his first Christmas since his election in May, urging Christians to welcome the poor and strangers and emphasizing that faith should be judged by how society treats those in need. Speaking at St. Peter's Basilica, he said, "Where there's room for the human person, there's room for God," adding that even a stable can be more sacred than a temple. The 70-year-old pontiff warned against treating people as commodities, highlighting that God's incarnation affirms the dignity of every human and offers liberation from all forms of slavery. About 5,000 people watched the Mass on large screens in St. Peter's Square, braving heavy rain with umbrellas and ponchos. Pope Leo celebrated Christmas Day Mass on Thursday and delivered the twice-yearly Urbi et Orbi blessing, reinforcing his call for compassion, social justice, and human dignity. Huge crowds welcomed aspiring Prime Minister Tariq Rahman back to Bangladesh after 17 years of self-imposed exile, greeting him with cheers and excitement at Dhaka airport. Rahman, the son of former Prime Minister Khaleda Zia, is seen as the heir apparent of the Bangladesh Nationalist Party BNP. Supporters described his return as a moment of immense joy, reflecting the significance of his comeback in the country's political landscape. Upon arrival, Rahman shook hands with party leaders and activists, signaling his renewed engagement in national politics. Iran's Revolutionary Guards have seized an oil tanker in the Gulf, authorities said, in what Tehran describes as part of its efforts to curb illegal fuel transport in the region. Iranian forces frequently announce the interception of vessels they claim are violating maritime fuel regulations, raising tensions in one of the world's busiest oil shipping lanes. The Gulf is a strategic choke point for global energy supplies, and such seizures often draw international attention due to the risk of disruption disrupting trade. Tehran has framed these actions as law enforcement, while critics argue they could escalate regional tensions. The incident comes amid heightened scrutiny of Iran's maritime activities and ongoing geopolitical frictions with Western and Gulf nations. Shipping companies are being urged to monitor the situation closely to avoid potential disruptions. Heavy rain and hail overnight caused severe flooding and damage across Bodrum in Turkey's Mogula province, disrupting daily life and traffic. Several streets and avenues were submerged, making travel difficult for residents and vehicles. The intense rainfall led to the collapse of a retaining wall at a two-story house, prompting authorities to evacuate 9 people from 4 households as a precaution. Floodwaters also affected homes and businesses, with residents working to pump out water while emergency teams assessed the damage. Authorities continue to monitor the situation and warn of potential risks as cleanup efforts continue. The incident highlights the region's vulnerability to sudden extreme weather events. Senior defense officials from Thailand and Cambodia met Thursday at the Ban Pakart Permanent Border Crossing in Chanthaburi for the 3rd secretary-level session of the General Border Committee. The meeting aims to de-escalate military tensions and address ongoing skirmishes along the volatile frontier, moving toward a formal framework for regional stability. Cambodian officials were received with diplomatic courtesy by Thai counterparts before the session. Observers from Malaysia and the ASEAN attaché team monitored the talks, highlighting the regional significance of the discussions. While details remain confidential, officials describe the atmosphere as positive, with talks set to continue on ceasefire measures and joint landmine clearance operations. In Bolivia, tensions escalated in the capital, La Paz, as miners and other workers protesting recent fuel price hikes clashed with citizens demanding an end to the demonstrations. The confrontation, now in its 3rd consecutive day, reportedly involved punches, kicks, and shoving, highlighting the growing unrest in the city. Bolivia has faced widespread protests since government measures to adjust fuel prices, part of efforts to stabilize the economy, sparked discontent among labor groups. Authorities have called for calm and urged dialogue between protesters and residents, but so far the demonstrations continue to disrupt daily life in the capital. The 2025 World Expo in Osaka, Western Japan is projected to have generated a surplus of up to 37 billion yen, or around $237 million, exceeding earlier estimates by about 9 billion yen. The Japan Association for the 2025 World Exposition revealed the updated figures at a board meeting in Tokyo following the 6-month event that concluded in October. The increase in surplus is attributed to additional revenue from travel agency ticket sales and on-site shop purchases. Authorities, including the central government and Osaka city and prefectural officials, plan to meet to review the expo's outcomes and discuss how to utilize the surplus. The organizers also noted that nearly 2 million tickets, about 8.8% of total sales, went unused during the event. Giant panda cubs were recently filmed enjoying playful moments at the Chengdu research base of giant panda breeding in Sichuan province, southwest China. One pair of cubs was seen sharing a friendly hug, while another trio frolicked around in a lively play fight, delighting viewers. The heartwarming footage was released on the iPanda platform, giving audiences an up-close look at the daily lives of these beloved animals. The Chengdu base is internationally renowned for its conservation, breeding, and research programs, as well as its efforts to protect red pandas and other endangered species. These playful scenes highlight both the charm of the panda cubs and the success of China's ongoing wildlife conservation initiatives.
Nepal's festivals are like colors on a canvas. Communities celebrate occasions that are as diverse as the country itself. These festivals hold deep personal meaning for individuals, going far beyond mere celebration. They are not just events. They are emotional, cultural, and spiritual lifelines that nurture identity, community, and inner happiness. For Nepalis, every festival, whether it honors gods, ancestors, nature, or the cycle of seasons, is ultimately a celebration of life itself. Birth, life, and death are all celebrated with utmost joy and separate rituals as per the communities. It's a reminder that life, like the changing seasons, is full of both light and shadow, and each festival teaches to embrace both with gratitude.
हरेक चाडपर्वमा एउटा एउटा हैन धान रोप्दाखेरि खेतमा हामी पूजा गरेर हुन्छौं धान थन्काउँदा हामीले हवन गरेर हुन्छौं नुहाई खाने भनेर भनिन्छ नवान्न प्राशनको विधानहरू छुट्टै छ त्यो सम्पूर्ण कुराहरूले हाम्रो प्रकृतिमा पनि त्यति नै सुप्रभाव पार्छ र मान्छेको शरीरमा मनमा र आत्मासम्म पनि यसले सुप्रभाव पार्छ आनन्द दिन्छ सत र चित राम्रो आनन्द र चिरकालसम्म रहने टिकाउ आनन्द दिन्छ भन्ने मान्यताले गर्दा फेरि यो सबै चाडपर्वहरू हामी मनाइरा हुन्छौं.
Major Hindu celebrations like Dasai and Tihar unite families in devotion and joy and is celebrated by majority of Nepalis. While Buddha Jayanti, Loshar, Sakela Udhauli, Shakela Ubhauli, Maghi Shankranti or Maghi showcase the spiritual and cultural vibrancy of Buddhist, Kirat and indigenous communities. Festivals such as Indrazatra, Gaizatra and Yomari Punhi blend history with celebration. For women, Tees and Risi Panchami serve as expressions of faith and sisterhood. And in the Tarai, Chhat embodies purity, discipline and devotion to the sun and nature.
भौगोलिक हिसाबले सानो भइकन फेरि कस्तो भने जात जातिको हिसाबले पनि थुप्रै ट्राइबहरू भएको यो सबै एउटै जातिको मात्रै छैन तर हामीका धार्मिक सहिष्णुता छ रिलिजियस टलरेन्स भन्छौं त्यो विश्वलाई हामीले दिएको एउटा उदाहरण हो हामीका हिन्दूहरुको चाडपर्व पनि बौद्धहरुले पनि मनाउँछन् इस्लामहरुले पनि मनाइराखेका हुन्छन् नितान्त हिन्दूहरुको जस्तो लक्ष्मी पूजाको कुरा गर्यो दशैंकी कुरा गर्यो यहाँ राष्ट्र प्रमुखहरुको बेलामा हिन्दूहरु बाहेक अन्य धर्मावलम्बीहरु पनि टीका थाप्नलाई हामीका आशीर्वाद लिने चलन छ त्यो लिनलाई गइराखेका हुन्छन्.
Festivals here reflect its rich cultural diversity and deep sense of community. Shared laughter, music and rituals foster emotional healing and strengthen social bonds. Experts say gatherings and celebrations nurture positivity, hope and meaning.
यो त एकदमै ठुलो कस्तो कुरा रहेछ भने यो रिचार्ज गर्ने भन्छौं नि हामी गरिरहेको परम्पराबाट गरिरहेको यस्ता कार्यहरू गर्दा चाहिँ हामीमा के हुन्छ त स्वतस्फूर्त रूपमा हामी चाहिँ नि एकदम फेरि अब हामीलाई एउटा भित्रबाट पनि शान्ति मिल्छ सुख मिल्छ त्यसकारण यो चाहिँ आवश्यकै चीज हो.
Amid modernization, festivals remain vital anchors connecting people to their culture and roots. The togetherness of families, the glow of butter lamps in monasteries during Loshar, and the rhythm of Thime drums in Nevari processions all tell the same story. Nepal is a land where festivals are the very heartbeat of its people.
पाटन दरबार स्क्वायर विश्व सम्पदामा पर्नुको आधारहरूको कुरा गर्दै सबभन्दा पहिले त यो विश्व सम्पदामा युनेस्कोले 1979 मा यो पाटन दरबार क्षेत्र अथवा त्यो बेला चाहिँ काठमाडौँ भ्याली वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज साइट भनेर काठमाडौँ उपत्यकाको 7 वटा विभिन्न क्षेत्रहरू जसलाई अहिले हामी संरक्षित स्मारक क्षेत्र भन्छौँ 7 वटा विभिन्न क्षेत्रहरूलाई काठमाडौँ भ्याली वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज साइटमा इन्लिस्टिङ गरेको थियो। अब त्यसमा सबभन्दा ठुलो कुरो त के भन्दाखेरि तपाईँले पाटन दरबार स्क्वायर, काठमाडौँ दरबार स्क्वायर, भक्तपुर दरबार स्क्वायर हेर्नुभयो भने यो 17औं शताब्दीसम्म मल्ल राजाहरूले यहाँ शासन गर्दाखेरिको दरबार क्षेत्र हो। दरबार स्क्वायर नामैले अब धेरैले सोध्छन् दरबार स्क्वायर भनेको के हो भनेर। वास्तवमा यो तीनटा त्यो बेला चाहिँ यो तीनटा अहिलेको ठुलो सहरहरू पहिला तीनटा छुट्टा छुट्टै राज्य नै थिए, छुट्टा छुट्टै देशकै रूपमा स्थापित थिए, मल्ल राजाहरू थिए। त्यसकारण राजाहरूको दरबार भएको कारणले दरबार स्क्वायर भन्ने हो। अब पाटन दरबार स्क्वायरको कुरा गर्दाखेरि पाटन दरबार स्क्वायरमा पाटन दरबार पुरानो मल्ल राजाको दरबार लगायत यहाँ भएका विभिन्न मन्दिरहरू हेर्नुभयो भनेदेखि यहाँ 16औं शताब्दीदेखि लिएर 17औं 18औं शताब्दीसम्मका पैगोडा शैलीका र शिखर शैलीका विभिन्न मन्दिरहरू। त्यसमा सबैभन्दा पुरानो भनेको 1565 मा बनेको चारनारायणको मन्दिर हो। यो चारनारायणको मन्दिर लगायत अरू मन्दिरहरूमा हेर्नुभयो भने हामी यसलाई हाम्रो पैगोडा शैली भन्छौँ। यो चाहिँ नि नेपाली एकदम बेग्लै किसिमको आफ्नै पहिचान भएको पैगोडा शैली हो। तपाईँले साउथ इस्ट एसियातिर अन्त हेर्न जानुभयो भने पैगोडा शैली भनेको भिन्नै प्रकारको छ। तर हाम्रो यहाँको पैगोडा शैली भनेको मल्टी रुफ, धेरैवटा छाना भएको, झिङ्गटीको छाना भएको त्यस्तो मन्दिरलाई चाहिँ हामी पैगोडा शैली भन्छौँ। यो चारनारायणको मन्दिर लगायत अन्य पैगोडा शैलीको मन्दिरहरूमा हेर्नुभयो भने काष्ठकलाले यति भरिपूर्ण छ। तपाईँले प्रत्येक एकवटा सानो टुँडालदेखि लिएर त्यहाँको झ्यालहरू हेर्नुभयो भनेदेखि यो पक्कै पनि विश्वमा चिनाउन सक्ने खालको नेपाली कलाकृति रहेको छ। यो वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज साइटमा इन्लिस्टिङ हुनुमा सायद यिनै मुख्य कारण होला।
पाटन दरबार कसले बनाएर कहिले बनायो भन्ने कुराहरू चाहिँ इतिहासमा एकिनमिति पाउन सकिँदैन। तर यसको ऐतिहासिकताको चर्चा गर्दा चाहिँ किराँत कालदेखि नै सुरुवात गर्नुपर्ने चाहिँ यसको नाम एल भएको कारणले गर्दा कसैले एलम्बरको नामबाट एल रहन गयो या पनि भन्ने कुरा छ। त्यसपछि आएर हामीले लिच्छवी कालीनमा चाहिँ 643 को एउटा अभिलेख यो केशवनारायण चोकमा देखिन्छ भने अर्को 570 एडीको चाहिँ मङ्गहिटी धारा पनि देख्न सकिन्छ। त्योभन्दा पछिको संरचनाहरू चाहिँ सबै मल्ल शासकको बेलामा बनेको देखिन्छ।
यो मन्दिर चाहिँ नि राजा सिद्धि नरसिंह मल्लले 1636-37 मा बनाउनु भएको 1636। त्यो बेलामा हामीसँग ढुङ्गे टेक्नोलोजी त्यति थिएन। ढुङ्गाको टेक्नोलोजी चाहिँ लिच्छवी कालमा धेरै राम्रो थियो। त्यसपछि हामीले त्यो ढुङ्गाको टेक्नोलोजीमा त्यति त्यो ढुङ्गाको मठ मन्दिरहरू बनाउने टेक्नोलोजीमा त्यति हामी अगाडि बढेनौँ। तर इँटा र माटोकोमा काठकोमा चाहिँ एउटा शैलीमा हामी धेरै माथि गयौँ। त्यसपछि ढुङ्गाको जुन शैलीमा जानु पर्दाखेरि त्यो बेलामा हाम्रो यहाँको मिस्त्रीहरूलाई साह्रै समस्या पर्यो। माटोको चाहिँ अडाइदिन सक्छु त्यो ठुलो अल्गो त गगनचुम्बी त्यो बेलाको हिसाबले, यो त ढुङ्गाको त हामी सक्दैनौँ भन्ने भएपछि त्यो समस्या गनगन हुँदै गर्दाखेरि ठड्याउन नसक्ने भइसक्यो। एकजना बुढो मान्छे जान्ने मान्छे आएर मोडेल सोडेल बनाएर यसरी गर्नुहोस् है सिकाएर जानुभयो। अनि उहाँलाई विश्वकर्माको अवतार मानेर उहाँलाई सम्झनामा उहाँले पूजा गरेर अनि त्यसपछि कृष्ण मन्दिर बनाउन सुरु गरेको भन्यो। तल्लो तल्लामा हेर्नु होला तपाईँले बच्चाहरूको लागि खेल्न रमाइलो, बच्चाहरूले बुझ्ने ज्ञान सिम्बा शार्दुला राखेको छ। त्योभन्दा माथि जानुभयो भने तपाईँले देख्नुहुन्छ रामायणको मर्यादा, समाजमा मर्यादा कसरी कायम गर्ने सामान्य बच्चाभन्दा अलिकति माथिल्लो स्तरको लागि ज्ञान छ। रामायणको ज्ञानहरू, रामायणको चित्रपट छ त्यहाँ, त्यसमा अक्षरले पनि कुदेको छ। यो भनेको यो गरेको यो वर्णन छ। अनि अझ त्योभन्दा माथिल्लो स्तरमा जानुहुन्छ भने महाभारतको राजनीतिको ज्ञान दिएको छ हेर्नुहोस् है। सामान्यभन्दा माथिल्लो स्तरमा गएको छ, महाभारतको ज्ञान दिने कोही। त्योभन्दा पनि माथि जानुहुन्छ भने बनारस, काशी, दार्शनिक ज्ञान, धर्म मात्र होइन धर्मको पनि प्रकाण्ड माथि पुगेपछि दार्शनिक ज्ञानहरू राखेको छ। त्योभन्दा माथि तपाईँ एक तला माथि जानुभयो भने तपाईँले के पाउनुहुन्छ, फेरि शिवको मूर्ति पाउनुहुन्छ। शिव अवतार पनि त्यही हुन्छ। सबभन्दा माथिल्लो तल्लामा फेरि हेर्नु होला तपाईँले देख्नुहुन्छ 4 नारायण राखिदिएको छ, शिलालेखमा भने जस्तै सृष्टिको वैकुण्ठ।
अब यो म पर्को टोलमा बसेको नाताले चाहिँ पर्को टोलबाटै हराएको लक्ष्मीनारायणको चाहिँ मूर्ति जो छ त्यसको बारेमा चाहिँ अब खोजनीति गर्ने हाम्रो कर्तव्य पनि भयो र मेरो पनि कर्तव्य हुन आयो। यो हराएको चाहिँ करिब यो 44 सालतिर हो खास चाहिँ। अनि हामीले चाहिँ अब मूर्ति हराइसकेपछि अब त्यहाँ भक्तजनहरूलाई पूजा गर्नको लागि अब के गर्ने, अब मन्दिर चाहिँ छ तर मूर्ति नभएपछि त त्यहाँ त अब अशोभनीय हुने भयो। त्यसैले हामीले त्यसको चाहिँ अब अर्को छुट्टै एउटा लक्ष्मीनारायणकै अब स्वरूपको चाहिँ एउटा मूर्ति बनाएर चाहिँ प्रतिष्ठापन गऱ्यौँ हामीले। त्यसपछि एकजना हाम्रो यो जयलिन भन्ने एकजना आर्टिस्ट हुनुहुन्छ, कलाकार हुनुहुन्छ। उहाँले चाहिँ हराएको मूर्तिको बारेमा चाहिँ त्यो मूर्तिको पनि उहाँले स्केच गर्नुभएको छ। त्यो स्केच चाहिँ उहाँले कहाँबाट लिनुभयो भनेपछि यो हाम्रो लेन्सिन वाङदेलले चाहिँ लेख्नुभएको एउटा द स्टोलन इमेजेस अफ नेपाल भन्ने एउटा किताब छ। त्यो किताबबाट चाहिँ उहाँले लिनुभएको। अनि त्यो स्केचबाट चाहिँ उहाँ चाहिँ अमेरिकाको चाहिँ यो डल्लास म्युजियममा चाहिँ भ्रमणमा जाँदाखेरि चाहिँ देख्नु भएको छ। त्यो जो मैले चाहिँ स्केच गरेको त्यही नै हो भन्ने उहाँ लागिसकेपछि चाहिँ अब त्यो कुरा चाहिँ गभर्मेन्ट लेभलमा पुग्यो। त्यसपछि त्यहाँबाट चाहिँ ल्याउने प्रक्रिया सुरु भयो। अनि त्यो प्रक्रिया सुरु भइसकेपछि चाहिँ अब यहाँ हाम्रो महानगरपालिकाले पनि अब आवश्यक चाहिँ सहयोगहरू जुटाएको छ त्यो ल्याउने काममा चाहिँ। त्यसै अरू थुप्रै चाहिँ अब हाम्रा संस्कृति प्रेमीहरू होइन, अब यो हितैषीहरू, शुभेच्छकहरू सबैले चाहिँ सहयोग गरेर यो ठाउँमा चाहिँ प्रतिस्थापन गर्न चाह्यौँ हामीले।
मणिमण्डपको बारे कुरा गर्नुपर्दाखेरि चाहिँ हाम्रो यो मणिमण्डप चाहिँ 2टा पार्टी छ, जुन त्यो मङ्गल बजारको त्यो हिटी तल जानेकोमा चाहिँ। अनि त्यो पार्टी बस्नको लागि मात्रै होइन कि त्यहाँनिर चाहिँ कल्चर र त्यसमा चाहिँ हिस्टोरी धेरै कुरा जोडिरहेको छ। स्पेसली कुरा गर्नुपर्दाखेरि चाहिँ त्यसमा चाहिँ हाम्रो मच्छिन्द्रनाथ जात्रामा चाहिँ एकदम ठुलो रोल खेल्छ त्यसले चाहिँ। अब हामी तल जाँदाखेरि दाहिनेपट्टिकोमा चाहिँ त्यहाँनिर बसेर हाम्रो गुठीको मच्छिन्द्रनाथ गुठीको चाहिँ मानिसहरू अनि प्लस पानेजु खलकहरू अनि ज्योतिष खलकहरू चाहिँ बसेर त्यहाँनिर चाहिँ कुन दिन जात्रा गर्ने, कुन दिन रथ तान्ने, कुन दिन फोटो देखाउने, त्यो सबै डेटहरू चाहिँ त्यहाँ बसेर चाहिँ सबै खलकहरू बसेर चाहिँ सहमतिमा चाहिँ त्यो फिक्स गर्ने गरिन्छ। सो अहिलेसम्म पनि त्यो चाहिँ कल्चर चाहिँ अहिलेसम्म पनि कन्टिन्यू भइरहेको छ।
दरबार स्क्वायर भनौँ अथवा पाटन सहर भनौँ, यो चाहिँ नि प्राचीन कालदेखि नै लिच्छवी काल अथवा त्योभन्दा पनि अगाडि किराँत कालदेखिकै महत्त्वपूर्ण ऐतिहासिक पुरातात्विक महत्त्वको स्थल हो। यहाँ चाहिँ नि मूर्त अमूर्त सम्पदाहरूले चाहिँ धनी छ यो सहर। यहाँ चाहिँ जस्तो अब हामीले दरबार स्क्वायरबाट बाहिर हेऱ्यौँ भनेदेखि चाहिँ नि विभिन्न वास्तु संरचनाहरू देख्न सकिन्छ। यी संरचनाहरू चाहिँ नि मल्लकालदेखिका संरचना भए पनि यसले चाहिँ मल्लकालभन्दा धेरै अगाडिदेखिको इतिहास बोकेको छ। यहाँ चाहिँ नि यो मूर्त सम्पदा मात्रै होइन, यहाँ चाहिँ नि विभिन्न अमूर्त सम्पदाहरू पनि त्यत्तिकै मात्रामा भएको कारणले गर्दा चाहिँ नि यहाँ पर्यटकहरू आउने यसको चाहिँ नि महत्त्व विश्वमा नै प्रसिद्ध रहेको छ।
आजभन्दा 382 वर्ष अगाडि राजा सिन्धरसिंह मल्लको पालामा उनका गुरुद्वय हरिवंश राजोपाध्याय तथा विश्वनाथ राजोपाध्यायको सहयोग र सल्लाहमा चाहिँ यो नाच देश र जनताको कल्याणको लागि 5 दिनबाट सुरु भएको थियो। अनि पछि उनका छोरा भन्नाले सिन्धरसिंह मल्लका छोरा श्रीनिवास मल्लले यस नाचमा बाटो प्याख त्यो भनेको लोक नाटक 7 दिनको हो। यो नाचहरूलाई थपेर यस नाचलाई चाहिँ 12 दिनसम्म सञ्चालन गर्नुभयो। पछि उनका पनि छोरा श्रीनिवास मल्लका छोरा योग नरेन्द्र मल्लले चाहिँ यसमा यो नाचमा चाहिँ अरू उषाहरण र माधव बादल भन्ने नाचहरू थपेर यसलाई चाहिँ कार्तिक महिनाभरि त्यो भनेको 27 दिन तिहारको 3 दिन बाहेक एकै महिना सञ्चालन गर्नुभयो। यो कार्तिक महिनाभरि सञ्चालन गरिने भएकोले पनि यो नाचलाई चाहिँ कार्तिक नाच भनेको हो। र अनि यो नाचमा चाहिँ हाम्रो नेवार समुदायको बाहुल्यता रहने गर्छ। हाम्रो नेवार समुदायको सम्पूर्ण जातहरू माथिल्लोदेखि लिएर सम्पूर्ण तल्लो जातसम्मको यसमा यो नाचमा समावेश भएको छ। अनि विभिन्न जात अनुसारै यसमा कलाकारहरू साथसाथै यसमा चाहिँ सहयोग गर्नेहरूलाई पनि भिन्न कामहरू छुट्याइ आएको छ, जुन हालसम्म पनि निरन्तरता भइरहेको छ।
छोरा नातिहरूले भोलि पर्सि चाहिँ हाम्रा बाजे बराजुले के बनाएर गए, हामी कहाँ चाहिँ कस्तो कस्तो किसिमको टेक्नोलोजीहरू थिए, हाम्रो कल्चर के थिए इत्यादि कुराहरू उनीहरूले पनि जानोस् भन्ने हिसाबले यस्ता चिजहरूलाई चाहिँ बचाइराख्नुपर्ने एकदमै आवश्यक ठान्छु। त्यसकारण चाहिँ भुइँचालोले जति पनि भत्के ती सबै चाहिँ फेरि कुनै चाहिँ नभत्किएकालाई हामीले रेट्रोफिटिङ गरेर पनि जोगायौँ र भत्किएकालाई पुनर्निर्माण गरेर फेरि पुरानै शैलीमा पुरानै जति पनि सामानहरू हामीले पुनः प्रयोग गर्न योग्य थिए त्यो सामानहरू जुन बटुलेर राखेको थियो त्यसलाई नै फेरि पुनः प्रयोग गरेर हामीले मन्दिरहरू बनायौँ। जस्तो हामीले नयाँ बनाउन नसकिने भन्ने होइन कि नयाँ बनाउँदाखेरि त्यसको जति महत्त्व हुन्छ त्यसलाई हामी चाहिँ भनौँ न अब अर्को 50 वर्षपछि हामीले त्यो नयाँ राम्रै बनाए पनि यो चाहिँ 72 सालको भुइँचालोपछि बनाए यसको चाहिँ 75 वर्ष भएको छ भन्ने चाहिँ हामी चाहिँ जुन रिसर्चबाट देख्छौँ। तर अहिले जुन मन्दिरहरू छन् 300-400 वर्ष पुरानो छन् त्यसलाई नै हामीले जोगाइराख्यो भने अझ त्यसको चाहिँ महत्त्व बढ्दै जान्छ। त्यसकारण जति सक्यो त्यति चाहिँ हामीले पुरानो सामग्रीहरूलाई पुनः प्रयोग गरेर त्यसलाई नै चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ युज गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने चाहिँ मान्यता राख्दछ।
पाटन दरबार स्क्वायर भनेको चाहिँ ललितपुरको मुटुमै छ, जसलाई हामीले मङ्गल बजार भनिन्छ। लिच्छवी कालदेखि यसमा विभिन्न मणिगल मणि हुँदै यसलाई चाहिँ पछि अपभ्रंश भएर मङ्गल बजार भएको हो, जसमा यसमा इतिहास र पुरातात्विक प्रमाणमा 60वटा मणि छ भनिन्छन्, जसमध्ये मणि केशव, मणि भैरव, मणि गणेश, मणि कुमार, मणि धारा, मणि गुफा र मणि केशवर गरी यी 60वटा मणिहरू छन्, जुन यो मङ्गल बजारको यो पाटन दरबारको सेरोफेरोभित्रै रहेको छ। जसमध्ये मणि आइटी भनेको काठमाडौँ उपत्यकाको लिच्छवीकालीन धारा हो, जसलाई मानदेवको नाति भारोबीले बनाएको भनेको अभिलेख कुटिएको छ। मङ्गल बजारको जुन मणि धारा हालसम्म अविरल 1500 वर्षदेखि अविरल रूपमा पानी बग्दै आएको र स्थानीयको सांस्कृतिक सामाजिक महत्त्वको रूपमा रहेको धारा हो। राजपूत कलामा इन्फ्लुएन्स भएको कलाले भरिपूर्ण भएको चाहिँ चित्रकला हो, जुन चाहिँ 16औं शताब्दीमा बनेको। यसमा विशेष गरी सिङ्गारको रूपमा कृष्णलीला सम्बन्धी त्यसको ड्रेस कोड, मल्लकालीन कस्तो ड्रेसहरू लाउँथ्यो, हुन त त्यसमा राजा आफै भएको चित्र पनि हो। त्यसमा सिद्धि नरसिंह मल्लको आफ्नो पोर्ट्रेट पनि जुन रहेको छ।
सुन्दरी चोकको सबसे मुख्य सुन्दर कुरा भनेको चाहिँ यस चोकमा रहेको यो सोसाइटी हो, जसमा चाहिँ यो तान्त्रिज्म अथवा तान्त्रिक देवी देवताहरूको चाहिँ बढी प्रभाव रहेको छ। र सोसाइटीमा चाहिँ जुन एउटा जसबाट चाहिँ उखु जस्तै मिठो पानी आउँछ भने त्यसको सोसाइटीसँगै वरपर रहेका तान्त्रिक देवी देवताका मूर्तिहरूले पनि सुन्दरी चोकलाई सुन्दर बनाएको छ। यहाँ अर्को काष्ठकलाको रूपमा चाहिँ शिवलिङ्गहरू पनि रहेका छन्। यहाँ जहाँ चाहिँ 509वटा शिवलिङ्ग रहेका छन् भने तिनीहरूको नाम चाहिँ 501वटा जुन चाहिँ प्रचलित लिपिमा लेखिएको छ। र तपाईँले यहाँ शिवलिङ्गमा पनि उपत्यकाका 64वटा ज्योतिर्लिङ्गहरूको नामहरू पनि यहाँ पाउन सक्नुहुन्छ। राजा सिद्धि नरसिंह मल्ललाई चाहिँ हरेक टोलबाट चाहिँ उपहार स्वरूप काष्ठ झ्यालहरू जुन चाहिँ हरेक बुट्टाहरूले उत्कीर्ण एकदम राम्रो खालका रहेका छन्, जसले पनि सुन्दर चोकलाई सुन्दर बनाउन चाहिँ सहयोग गरेको छ। प्लस यहाँका टुडालहरूमा रहेका आकृतिहरू, इरोटिक आकृतिहरूदेखि लिएर विभिन्न नारी मूर्तिहरूले पनि यस सुन्दर चोकलाई चाहिँ सुन्दर बनाउन मद्दत गरेको छ। साथै यहाँ रहेका सिद्धि नरसिंह मल्लको खाट जुन चाहिँ ढुङ्गाबाट बनेको छ, जहाँ राजा सिद्धि नरसिंह मल्लले चाहिँ गर्मीमा पञ्चाग्नि तापेर र जाडोमा नाङ्गे बसेर तपस्या गर्दथे भन्ने
त्यसमध्ये मुख्य जात्रा भनेको भीमसेन जात्रा, गाई जात्रा, कृष्णाष्टमी, धेरै जात्राहरू छन्। सबभन्दा ठुलो जात्रा भनेको भीमसेन जात्रा हो। भीमसेन जात्रा ललितपुरको सबभन्दा ठुलो जात्रा, हाम्रो रथ मच्छिन्द्रनाथको रथ यात्रा पछिको ठुलो जात्रा हो। यसमा त यो यो श्रावण भाद्र महिनामा पर्दछ, कहिले श्रावणमा कहिले भाद्रमा पर्छ। यो कृष्णाष्टमीको कहिले भोलिपल्ट कहिले पर्सिपल्ट यो जात्रा।
सत्रह काशी विश्वनाथ मन्दिरमा मुगल बादशाहले आक्रमण गरेका थिए। आक्रमण गरेको बेलामा काठमाडौँमा पनि खबर पुग्यो, यहाँ मुसलमानले काशी विश्वनाथमा काशी नगरमा आक्रमण गर्न लागेको छ भनेर यहाँको हिन्दूहरूलाई पनि बडो चोट लाग्यो। अनि यहाँको हिन्दू भागीरथ उहाँहरू चाहिँ नेपालको फौज सङ्कलन गरेर अब हामी बनारसमा गएर लड्न जाने, हामी विश्वनाथ मन्दिर बचाउने, काशीलाई बचाउने भनेर फौज जम्मा गरेर उतातिर हिँडे। अनि जाँदै गर्दा मकवान पुगेपछि उहाँहरूले के खबर आयो, काशी त ध्वस्त पारिसक्यो, जितिसक्यो औरङ्गजेबले, काशी विश्वनाथ पनि ध्वस्त पारिसक्यो भनेपछि लौ अब हामी लड्न जाने भनेको त्यसैको लागि हो। अब लडिसक्यो, सबै स्याक गरिसक्यो, काशी नै नष्ट गरिसक्यो भनेपछि अब हामी गएर के काम, गए पनि हामी मर्न जाने मात्रै, हामी हारिहाल्छ, हामीले केही गर्न सक्यो भने सबै खेतपूर्वक फर्केर आयो। फर्केर आएपछि भागिरहेको भइनाले मनमा के खेलिरह्यो भनेपछि यो मेरो काम फत्ते भएन, काशीलाई बचाउन सकियो। अब सानो फौज गइहाल्यो तर आकाङ्क्षा त ठुलो रहेछ भने। अनि उहाँले के सोच्नुभयो भने म नै यहाँ काशीको मन्दिर विश्वनाथ बनाउँछु।
मासु उभो गर्ने, बलि दिने यो गरिसकेपछि तलेजु भवानीमा नवमी र दशमीको दिनमा जसरी बलि दिन्छ त्यो बलि दिएको अब यहाँ रगतको आहालै बग्थ्यो। अब आजकल त 5 बग्यो, 5 राङ्गो मात्रै। पहिले 54वटा भन्थ्यो, भक्तपुरमा 54वटै दिन्थ्यो, काठमाडौँमा 54वटै राङ्गो बोका बलि दिन्छ अहिले पनि। तर पाटनमा चाहिँ अहिले 5-5वटा मात्रै बलि दिन्छ। अनि त्यो बलि दिइसकेपछि जुन खुँडा, त्यो बलि दिँदाखेरि प्रयोग गर्ने सामानहरू जसरी रक्ताम्य हुन्छ नि, त्यो रक्ताम्य भएको भाँडाकुँडा, खुँडाहरू, तरबार, खुकुरी यो सबै चाहिँ नि तलेजु भवानीको तलेजु भवानी मन्दिरको पूर्वपट्टि रहेको जुन भण्डारखाल बगैँचा छ, बगैँचामा एउटा ठुलो पोखरी छ। त्यो पोखरीमा एउटा धारो एउटा पनि छ, जसमा ढुङ्गे डाँडा। त्यो ढुङ्गे डाँडामा आएको पानीले नै पखाल्नुपर्छ भनेर एउटा शिलालेखमै उल्लेख गरेको छ। अनि यो भण्डारखालमा त्यो पखालिसकेपछि जुन त्यो रगतको पानी अनि त्यसमा टाँसेको मासुहरू जुन त्यो पोखरीमा जान्छ, त्यो पोखरीमा चाहिँ माछा पालेको पनि हुन्छ। अनि त्यहाँ त्यतिखेर हाँस पाल्ने, माछा पाल्ने गर्थ्यो भन्ने चाहिँ अब सुन्नमा आएको छ। तर अहिले त्यसको केही अब प्रत्यक्ष प्रमाण त छैन। अनि त्यो ठाउँमा सिद्धिनरसिंह मल्ल र सिद्धिनरसिंह मल्लको रानी, त्यसपछिको राजाहरू र रानीहरू त्यहाँ पोखरीमा अवलोकन गर्ने, त्यही ठाउँमा नुहाउने, त्यही ठाउँमा त्यो लुगा फेर्ने, यस्तो पनि यस्तो गर्ने व्यवस्था अनुरूप त्यो ठाउँ बनाएको छ। त्यो ठाउँलाई चाहिँ कलात्मक रूपबाट एउटा मूर्तिहरू पुरेर, मूर्ति दायाँ बायाँ तोरण राखेर विभिन्न कलाकृतिहरूले परिपूर्ण एउटा सानो कोठा एउटा बनाएको छ, बरन्डा जस्तो बनाएको छ। त्यो ठाउँमा बसेर चाहिँ नि अवलोकन गर्ने भन्ने राजाहरूले चाहिँ त्यस्तो गर्छ भनेर। अनि त्यो जुन राजा बसेर अवलोकन गर्ने छ त्यसको माथितिर एउटा गुम्बज जस्तो एउटा बाटली जस्तो एउटा ठाउँ बनाएको छ। त्यो ठाउँमा चाहिँ नि रानी मात्रै जानु पाउने, अनि रानी बसेर अवलोकन गर्ने। अनि त्यहाँ तलेजुको पुजारीले पूजाआजा सकिसकेपछि प्रसाद दिनुको लागि अनि तलेजुको पुजारी एकजना जानु पाउने, रानी र तलेजुको पुजारी दुईजना मात्रै जानु पाउने भनेर शिलालेखमा उल्लेख गरेको छ।
Bahadur Tamang, a gifted Thangka artist from the spiritual heart of Buddha, has turned his craft into a global bridge between tradition and business.
Thangka चाहिँ मैले 1970 सिक्न सुरुवात गरेको मेरो टिचर चाहिँ म भन्दा अघिल्लो मेरो दाइ हो साइला दाइ मेरो चाहिँ बाउपादेखि नै कलाकार हुनुहुन्थ्यो पाटन भक्तपुर छामेल दरबार स्क्वायरमा यसै पसल बेच्ने काम हुन्थ्यो अनि त्यो बेच्दा मैले यो थाङ्गा चाहिँ विदेशीले किन्दो रहेछ आफैले विदेशसँग बेच्नुपर्छ भन्ने अलिकति मनमा मलाई अलिकति सोच आयो त्यसपछि मैले 2050 सालमा यहाँ सुरु गरेँ आजभन्दा 32 वर्ष अगाडि
What began as a young artist's journey through the streets of Kathmandu has blossomed into a thriving enterprise where sacred art meets business and tourism. With every brushstroke, home brings Nepal's rich spiritual heritage to the world, transforming Thangka painting into a symbol of cultural fusion.
त्यो बेला चाहिँ पसल कोही पनि यहाँ थिएन किनभने त्यो मार्केटले चाहिँ कहाँ मार्केट हुन्छ भन्ने खोज्दो रहेछ त्यो खोज्ने क्रममा म यहाँ आइपुग्यो विदेशीहरू पनि यहाँ त्यति अहिले जस्तो बस्दैन 5 मिनेट 10 मिनेटमा घुमेर जानुहुन्थ्यो त्यतिखेर खाने रेस्टुरेन्ट पनि एकजना मात्रै थियो एउटा मात्रै थियो अहिले चाहिँ होस् त्यो बेला र अहिलेमा धेरै आकाश जमिनको फरक भएको छ
His story is one of passion, innovation, and a deep commitment to preserving tradition while embracing the future.
विशेष गरी यो बौद्ध स्तूपसँग रिलेटेड छ यो बुद्धको शिक्षासँग रिलेटेड यो थाङ्गा चाहिँ संसारको मानिसहरू यो स्तूपलाई घुम्ने क्रममा यो प्रार्थना गर्ने मेन आउने ठाउँ चाहिँ यो रहेछ त्यसो भएको हुनाले यो चाहिँ विशेष गरी ओल्ड हेरिटेज साइटमा चाहिँ त्यो पनि के हो बुद्धिस्टको भएको हुनाले चाहिँ नेपालभरि कुनै थाङ्का बिक्ने ठाउँ चाहिँ अति महत्त्वपूर्ण चाहिँ यो नै हो वास्तवमा किनभने रिलेटेड छ यो बुद्धसँग
From the hills of Ramechhap to the heart of Buddha, Home Bahadur Damang has a glorious story to tell. A story of will, determination, struggle, and success.
म आफै पनि रामसाप दुर्गम जिल्लामा जन्मेको चाहिँ रोजगार छैन त्यहाँ स्कुल छैन कलेज छैन हस्पिटल छैन रोजगार छैन त्यसपछि म पनि रोजगारकै क्रममा यहाँ आएर मैले सुरुवात गर्यो अहिले चाहिँ म लगभग 49 वर्ष भयो यही पेशा गरेर दाल भात खाएको अब नयाँ पुस्तालाई पनि मैले हस्तान्तरण गर्नुपर्छ है भन्ने मेरो एउटा उद्देश्यले चाहिँ अहिले मैले नयाँ पुस्तालाई चाहिँ गाउँबाट आउनुहुन्छ स्कुल सकेर अनि बिहान चाहिँ कलेज जानुहुन्छ दिउँसो काम छैन त्यस कारणले मैले 3 महिना फ्री ट्रेनिङ दिने गरेको छ उहाँको स्किल अन्त टेस्ट गरेर हामीले यहीँ तलब दिएर जस्तो बिहान कलेज पनि भ्यायो उसको कति हो त्यसो त्यहाँबाट एक्स्ट्रा टाइम चाहिँ 5 घण्टा 6 घण्टा 7 घण्टा पनि यहाँ जीवन चलाउने चाहिँ काम भइरहेको छ अहिले
For 49 years, he painted, taught, and empowered young artisans. Today, his school preserves tradition and creates futures.
हामीले यहाँ सुरुमा इन्टरभ्यू लिन्छु त्यसपछि एक हप्ता चाहिँ नि सानो क्यानभासमा हात ट्रेनिङ दिन्छु त्यसको शरीरको बडीहरू अलिकति ट्रेनिङ दिन्छु अनि एक हप्तापछि ओके भनेर ओके या यस भने कोही मानिस नसक्ने चाहिँ नि आधा घण्टामा 1 घण्टामा उठेर गइहाल्छ म सक्दैन ढाड दुख्यो किन उसको मन धेरै भएर गयो त्यो सक्दैन उ आउँदैन एक दिन पनि आउँदैन मात्रै आँखा चाहिँ हुनु पर्यो हामीले अपाङ्गलाई पनि सिकाएको छ जस्तो बाहिर कान नसुन्ने पनि सिकाएको छ आँखा चाहिँ हुनु पर्यो त्यस्तै हो
As interest in Buddhism grows worldwide, so does the appreciation for our sacred art. Foreigners now come not just to admire but to learn, studying our architecture techniques and meditative Thangka traditions, giving new life to what was once known only within our borders.
Buddhism in Nepal हो नेपालमा जति छन् विश्वसम्पदामा सूचीमा भएको मठ मन्दिर गुम्बद छ यसैबाट उहाँले पनि सिकेको वास्तवमा यो जुन बौद्ध स्तूपरा भनौं लुम्बिनी त्यो जस्तो उहाँले बनाउन सक्दैन तर यसको चाहिँ एकदम महत्त्वपूर्ण के छ भगवान या चाहिँ दोस्रो तेस्रो बुद्धको रिलेटिभ यहाँ छ जति चाहिँ अहिले संसारमा यो बुद्धिज्म फैलिँदै जान्छ यो महायान बुद्धिज्म त्यतिकै ठाङ्गको भ्यालु चाहिँ बढ्दैछ अहिले जस्तो मेरै कुरा मैले 40-45 वर्ष यति ठाङ्गको महत्त्व थिएन किनभने वर्ल्ड वाइडमा ब्रिटिस समस्या थिएन, ब्रिटिसहरूले जानेकै थिएन। उनीहरूले त्यो सुरसुर आउँदाखेरि सानोतिर एउटा नेपाल आउँदाखेरि सुपरनेट किन नलैजाऊ भन्ने मात्रै लाइन थियो। अहिले चाहिँ उहाँहरू चाहिँ जस्तो अमेरिका, युरोप, तपाईँको यो सिङ्गापुर, ताइवान, मलेसिया विभिन्न देशमा चाहिँ अहिले बुद्धिस्ट प्र्याक्टिसनर धेरै उहाँहरू चाहिँ गर्नुहुन्छ। त्यसको लागि चाहिँ एकदमै महत्त्वपूर्ण छ। त्यस कारणले भविष्यमा यो थाङ्गा चाहिँ छ, यसको मार्केट छ।
As an artist, entrepreneur, and a master, he feels fulfilled, creating beauty, guiding others, and living with purpose.
मैले संसार जीवन जगतलाई थाहा पायो। अहिले हामी सांसारिक जीवन छ, सांसारिक जीवनमा कसरी जिउने र अर्कोलाई पनि कसरी जिउन दिने कला थाहा पायो। त्यसपछि अब जुन देशमा जन्मे पनि, जुन कुलमा जन्मे पनि 100% निश्चित के हो भने मृत्यु छ। त्यो त निश्चित हो नि, एउटै निश्चित छैन, कहिले पनि निश्चित छैन। तर त्यो मर्नेमा म कसरी मर्ने भन्ने कला पनि थाहा पाएँ मैले। मलाई त धेरै परिवर्तन भएको छ। मैले परिवर्तन भयो भने के हुन्छ, मैले ठुलो पचेरो चढेर ठुलो गाडी त्यस्तो होइन, तर मलाई खुसी छ। सादा दाल भात खान पाएछ, मैले परिवार पाल्नु पाएछ। यही थाङ्गाले म जापान घुम्यो, युरोप गयो, चाइना घुम्यो, बुद्धिस्ट कन्ट्री सबै घुमेको छ। सबै ठाउँमा मैले घुम्नलाई मलाई पैसा आपत पनि परेन। थाङ्गा सँगसँगै लान्दै ब्रिफिङ गर्दै बेच्दै दर्शन बेचेको हो। त्यस कारण मलाई त एकदम खुसी छु म त पनि।
In the natural splendor, the silver-like peaks or the Himalayas glisten. Cradling a pond filled with milk in its lap, the Numbur Himal gleams. The Dudkunda, meaning a milk pond in Nepal's northeastern district of Solukhumbu, is truly the gateway to the paradise. The Numbur, Katang and Karyalung mountains seem to smile at all times. Adorned with a garland of colorful flowers, the Dudkunda is overflowing as if filled with milk. The very sight defines nature at its best. Feels as if the Numbur mountain is giving motherly affection, holding the lake in its lap. The beauty is so serene and virgin that one fears not to stain it by touching. Indeed, Dudkunda is nature at its purest form. Located at Solu Dudkunda municipality, Taksindu, the natural paradise draws many visitors. No matter how many words are spent describing it, they all feel inadequate upon reaching there. The name itself is fulfilling and equally sacred.
हजारौं नरनारीहरू चाहिँ तीर्थयात्रीहरू दुधकुण्डमा जानुभएको छ। म पनि पुगेर आएँ। दुधकुण्ड असाध्यै पवित्र स्थल, यो हिमाल काखमा रहेको तीर्थस्थल हो, पुण्यस्थल हो, देवस्थल हो र त्यहाँ चाहिँ एकचोटि पुग्नै पर्दो रहेछ। त्यहाँ पुगेर जुन आनन्दको अनुभूति हुन्छ त्यो चाहिँ कहीँ पनि पाइँदैन भन्ने चाहिँ महसुस भयो।
आनन्द लाग्यो, भएन मस्त लाग्यो। अनि यो ठाउँमा चाहिँ आएर तपस्या गरेर बस्नु जस्तो लाग्यो मलाई।
एकदमै राम्रो लाग्यो हैन, प्रकृतिले दिएको रमणीय तीर्थस्थल हैन। जो कोही पनि एकचोटि चाहिँ यहाँ आएर एकचोटि भ्रमण गरेर दर्शन गर्नुपर्छ जस्तो लाग्यो।
Situated at an altitude of 4,531 meters above the sea level, Dudkunda is a sacred pilgrimage site of culture and nature. It feels like nature has blessed this place, and culturally, it has bound all castes and ethnicities in a thread of unity. There are various legends and sayings about Dudkunda. One argument is that the pond was formed during the creation of the Himalayas and was discovered by local sheep and yak herders. According to another legend, in ancient times, a yak would go to a stone where the pond is located and offer its milk every day. Later, the place was found to be a pond filled with milk, leading to its name, Dudkunda. This has also led to the belief that gods and goddesses reside here. There are 3 different routes to reach Dudkunda. One route is through Salleri, Faplu, Taksindu and Sasrabeni. Another route goes via Lukla, the gateway to the Everest, through Nunthala, Taksindu and Sahasrabeni. Nature has truly blessed the Solu Dudkunda municipality. Truly, just like the majestic Mount Everest, Dudkunda has the potential to be the destination for everyone in the days to come. It is a thread of unity among all castes and ethnicities. Just like the holy water of Dudkunda, it will become a pure and excellent destination.
What if I told you a story of a place shrouded in mystery and steeped in stones? A place where warriors were born and raised, and their path through the mountains still remain to this day. Ajirkot, Gorkha, the unbeaten kingdom.
हामी पाहुनाहरू आउनु हुँदाखेरि हामी यसरी स्वागत गर्छौं अनि अलि नाचगानहरू देखाउँछौं मेरो सिंगो नेपाल गाउँकी गोरखामा गर्व लाग्छ जन्मिएछु साथै स्वर्गमा म त नेपालकी छोरी भन्छन् गोर्खाली जस्तो घाटु चुड्काहरू भन्ने चाहिँ विशेष गरी हुन्छ यहाँ
For those seeking a luxurious escape, there are stunning lodges that offer an indulgent retreat amidst the rugged beauty of this place. But for the true adventurers, this place has it all, from trekking through dense forest of Nagepokari trails to exploring ancient temples and learning the rich history of the region. So, what do you fancy? Are you the solo explorer, or do you prefer luxury within nature? Or perhaps you are the one who seeks to witness it all. Well, after all, life is a box of chocolates, and this place is filled with surprises. Welcome to the place where magic and reality intertwine, where the wonders of nature are both breathtaking and awe-inspiring. From the elevations of 300 meters to a towering 8,000 meters, this place will leave you mesmerized and in awe.
Dai Lake in Karnali province is a geographically remote district, yet rich with untapped potential for tourism. Stepping into Dai Lake, celebrated as a treasure trove of Khas art, culture and heritage, brings a unique sense of joy. Journey begins amid its natural beauty, leading us toward Mahabu Rural Municipality. As we leave the mid-hill highway, the terrain becomes challenging, with hilly, muddy roads demanding patience and skill. Long lines of vehicles crawl carefully along the cliffs, reflecting both the difficulty of the route and the enduring devotion of Mahabu Dham. Many travelers choose to continue on foot, advancing step by step toward their destination. Passing through Channa, Dasarathi, Okharbanz, Bhavsaini, Noli and Unipata, pilgrims ascend the slopes toward Lisne before finally reaching Mahabu Patan. Pilgrims from Dai Lake and nearby districts often arrive late at night, having begun their journey the previous day. The path to Mahabu Dham is thrilling, adventurous and breathtaking, made even more dramatic by the steady rain, drifting fog and steep inclines. Yet the journey itself feels uniquely rewarding. Mahabu Lake or Mahabu Dham, located within Mahabu Rural Municipality, is a remarkable place of natural beauty, religious significance and cultural heritage. Situated at an altitude of 4,200 meters, the area is adorned with emerald lakes, grazing flocks of sheep and goats, and a sky that dances with Himalayan mist. Every year, during Janai Purnima, a grand fair is held here, drawing thousands of devotees from across the region. Mahabu Dham's spiritual importance is deeply rooted in the ancient worship of Lord Shiva, revered here as the origin site. From Mahabu Lake, visitors can enjoy magnificent views of Api and Sai Palhimal, and on clear days, even the plains of Bardia. Given its religious importance and natural splendor, Mahabu Dham holds immense potential as a religious tourism destination. Improving the rough, narrow access roads is essential for supporting this growth. Mahabu Dham is more than a pilgrimage site. It is a confluence of culture, history, faith, and nature. To truly appreciate its significance, one must visit Mahabu Lake at least once, immerse oneself in its natural beauty, and experience the serene environment that leaves a lasting impression. Nepal's Prime Minister Karki says she is trying her best to fulfill the responsibilities, emotionally appeals literates to write stories on her challenges. Nepal finalizes election code of conduct ahead of March 5 polls, introducing green initiatives and post-election accountability. Nepal's Tribhuvan University celebrates its 51st convocation, awards degrees to 16,380 graduates, ranging from bachelor's to PhD. Christmas being celebrated around the world with much fanfare. Churches in Kathmandu hold midnight masses, while neighborhoods lit up with colorful decorations. At least 20 people killed in a road accident in Karnataka, India, after an oil tanker collided with a passenger bus on a main highway. And the match schedule for NVL Men's and Women's Championships set to begin tomorrow in Kathmandu released 20 teams contesting. Good evening, I'm Sarah Sapsanamarai and this is NTV World News Hour coming to you live from Kathmandu at 2200 hours Nepal time. And now the news in detail. Nepal's Prime Minister Sushila Karki has said despite all the odds and challenges, she will put an all-out effort to fulfill the mandate entrusted upon her. At a program in the capital, the interim Prime Minister said it's not easy to address all the expectations with a magic wand. In an emotional speech in front of literates, the former Chief Justice spoke her heart out, saying she is not among those who will run away from challenges.
बहुत हामीले एउटा धैर्य धारण गरेर हामी काम गर्दै छौं। अब हामीले देखेको कुरो के छ भने हुन त हामीलाई निर्वाचन किन चाहियो भन्ने भाषा पनि आएको छ युवाहरुमा। किन चाहियो भन्दाखेरि अब त्यो त संसारको नियम रहेछ, कानुन रहेछ, वैधानिकता अवैधानिकका कुराहरु हुँदो रहेछ। यसै एउटा यसरी सरकार यही सरकार चलिरह्यो भने तानाशाह हुन्छ, यही सरकार हिँडिरह्यो भनेदेखि त्यो चाहिँ के हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ यो त तानाशाही प्रवृत्तिको सरकार रहेछ। यी त सरकारमा खान आएका रहेछन्, यो त भोग गर्न आएका रहेछन्, टाँसिएरै बसे भन्छन् भन्ने पनि। अनि कतै जाँदा सुख नहुने अवस्था अहिले हाम्रो छ। हाम्रो बारेमा पनि कथा लेख्नुस् तपाईहरुले।
Nepal's Election Commission has issued a draft of the Election Code of Conduct 2082 seeking feedback. The draft Code of Conduct is prepared for the upcoming March 5 election to the House of Representatives, HOR. The Code of Conduct has aimed at making the election free, fair and economical. Once the code comes into effect, the earlier Code of 2079 would be terminated. Those violating the Code of Conduct are warned of getting their names public. The political parties participating in the election are required to make public the election manifestos. Tribhuvan University celebrated its 51st convocation in Kathmandu today, awarding degrees to 16,380 graduates out of 89,591 eligible students ranging from bachelor's to PhD programs. The ceremony recognized 22 top performers across faculties with convocation medals. Among those attaining educational degrees, 11,234 graduates of bachelor's degree, 14 of postgraduate degree, 4,860 of master's degree, 130 of MPhil, and 152 of PhD degree. At the ceremony, total 22 students attaining highest results in different faculties were provided with different convocation medals. Christmas is being observed today across the world and in Nepal, marked by religious services, family gatherings and public celebrations. The holiday commemorates the birth of Jesus Christ and is one of the most widely recognized events on the global calendar. While rooted in Christianity, Christmas has expanded beyond religion. Many countries observe it as a cultural and public holiday, promoting values of peace, generosity and unity. Governments declare work-free days, security agencies heighten public safety, and churches hold special services attended by millions. The significance of Christmas lies in its message of hope, compassion, and goodwill principles that resonate across faiths and cultures. Economically, the season also drives global commerce, tourism and charitable giving. Now, at least 20 people were killed in a road accident in Karnataka, India, when an oil tanker collided with a passenger bus on a main highway in Chitradurga district. Authorities say the tanker hit a central divider before crashing into the oncoming bus, causing a fire that burned many of the victims alive. Police investigations indicate that the tanker driver was at fault, though the driver, co-driver, and some passengers managed to escape. The bus was carrying 29 passengers, including 15 women and 14 men. Emergency teams are continuing to respond to the scene, while authorities call for stricter road safety measures to prevent similar tragedies. The match schedule for NVL Men's and Women's Championship, set to begin tomorrow in Kathmandu, has been released. The championship features 20 teams with women's matches in the morning sessions and men's matches in the afternoon. 4 matches will be played each day. The opening match will take place at 3 p.m. between Help Nepal and the departmental team Armed Police Force APF Club. In the men's category, 12 teams are divided into 4 groups, while the women's category features 8 teams across 2 groups. Following the league phase, quarterfinals will be held. The top 8 teams of the men's side and top 6 women's team from the championship will qualify for the Prime Minister's Cup NVL League. The final will be held on the 20th at the Tripureshwar Covered Hall in Kathmandu. Now, as thousands of educated youths continue to leave Nepal in search of better opportunities, a rare exception has emerged from Tribhuvan University's latest convocation. Stay tuned after the break to find out why these graduates are choosing a different path. You're watching NTV World. Welcome back to News Hour. At a time when brain drain is hitting Nepal's young human resources, the fresh graduates of Nepal's oldest and largest in fact, public university, Tribhuvan University, announced plans to stay in Nepal and build their future. The graduates from the 51st convocation ceremony of the university is a rare and hopeful signal in a country struggling to retain the talent. Sabika Shrestha sheds light on it.
The mass convocation of more than 16,000 students at Tribhuvan University was a moment of academic pride, but also a reminder of Nepal's struggle to turn degrees into domestic opportunity. Globally, Nepal ranks among countries most affected by youth outmigration, with skilled graduates seeking higher incomes and professional growth overseas. Yet, participants at the convocation acknowledged a growing realization the nation cannot afford to lose the very human capital it needs to develop.
अब एउटा कुरा त अवसर नभएर पनि केही हद त हो। अर्को कुरा के हो भने नेपालमा रोजगारी गर्नुभन्दा विदेश गएर रोजगारी गर्यो यहीँको सर्टिफिकेट लिएर भने पनि इन्कम चाहिँ वहाँ बढी हुने यो चाहिँ विद्यार्थीले सहज रूपमा अनुमान गरेको कुरा हो र नेपालको उत्पादनलाई वैदेशिक क्षेत्रमा पनि इन्टरनेसनल स्ट्यान्डर्डमा पनि इन्टरनेसनल लेभलमा पनि फरेन कन्ट्रिजहरु पनि डिमान्ड गरिरहेको अवस्था सजिलै रिकग्निसन गरेको अवस्था भएकाले पनि विद्यार्थीहरु बाहिर जाने गरेका हुन्।
Amid the 16,000 plus fresh graduates, those who stay in the country are certain to battle socio-economic challenges to seek individual opportunities. Amidst the crunch on, Prime Minister Sushila Karki, who is mandated for 6 months to hold elections ceremonially, pledged to create more opportunities at home. For the first time in the university's history, a Nobel laureate was invited. Japanese professor Dr. Takaki Kajito called the fresh graduates for perseverance, reminding that small efforts do not bear immediate fruits.
The very fact that you are here today proves that you have already overcome challenges. You have shown persistence, curiosity, and determination.
As Nepal celebrates its new graduates, their commitment to stay and contribute at home offers a rare glimpse of hope in reversing the country's long-standing brain drain.
From glowing streets to midnight prayers, Christmas is being celebrated in many different ways across the world. Stay with us for a look at how the season of joy is unfolding globally, waiting after this break.
This is NTV World. Welcome back to News Hour. As Christmas unfolds across the globe, celebrations are taking many forms, ranging from festive resilience in the face of hardship to creative gatherings that bring people together despite isolation. From mass under a bridge in southwestern France to crowded gift-hunting streets in Venezuela, and from flickering lights in Cuba to Friendsmas gathering in Australia. This holiday season highlights the strength, hope and solidarity of people everywhere. Vicheta Bhandari takes a look.
Christmas celebrations around the world this year are being celebrated in unique and contrasting ways. This festive resilience is mirrored around the world. In southwestern France, farmers marked Christmas Eve on a motorway blockade after 10 days of protest against government handling of livestock disease, even holding a mass under a bridge. In Caracas, Venezuela, high prices and political tensions could not dampen holiday cheer as residents navigated crowded streets in search of last-minute gifts. In Havana, Cuba, Christmas lights struggled to shine amid frequent power outages, with decorations glowing wherever electricity or solar panels allowed. Also in Australia, many celebrated Friendsmas, gathering with friends or joining community meal services to fight loneliness and foster a sense of belonging. But in the place where Jesus Christ was born, in Bethlehem, the celebrations returned after 2 years of solemn period. After the ceasefire in Gaza announced in October, this is the first time Christmas was celebrated in Bethlehem, which lies in the Israeli-occupied West Bank. Hundreds of worshippers gathered for Mass on Wednesday night at the Church of Nativity in Bethlehem, the biblical birthplace of Jesus Christ. This Christmas was also the first Christmas sermon of Pope Leo XIV. Pope Leo XIV, addressing a crowd of around 26,000 in attendance, called for solidarity with and acceptance of those in need.
E come non pensare alle tende di Gaza, da settimane esposte alle piogge, al vento e al freddo, e a quelle di tanti altri profughi e rifugiati in ogni continente, o ai ripari di fortuna di migliaia di persone senza dimora dentro le nostre città. Fragile è la carne delle popolazioni inermi.
From festive gatherings in adversity to creative celebrations in the face of isolation, this holiday season highlights both the challenges and the resilience of people worldwide.
In Nepal, Christmas celebrations are largely shaped by business and tourism. Once limited to expatriates and tourists, festivities in Kathmandu now center on hubs like Thamel and Jhamsi Hill, where hotels and restaurants mark the day and decorations in fact, and special events. This diversity on display highlights multiculturalism, but sustaining cultures beyond commercial appeal remains a challenge. In a city as layered as Kathmandu, questions persist over who defines cultural visibility and on whose terms. To explore this, we earlier spoke to Assistant Professor Ishan Khimire, anthropologist at Kathmandu University. Let's take a look. How would you define multiculturalism in practice, and what do you think qualifies a city as truly multicultural?
Thank you for having me. Multiculturalism in practice is not just about demographic diversity, but it is more about lived experiences and daily negotiations. So what this means is that a truly multicultural place is where cultural differences are lived, negotiated, and accommodated on a daily basis in daily life, and not just celebrated in special occasions. So this means that the elements of different cultures are very visible in public fair, and also there is an issue of institutional recognition, which means that the different social institutions like the schools, local governments, markets and workplaces accommodate and adapt to that diversity.
In a city as diverse as Kathmandu, how do you think cultures remain visible without becoming symbolic or performative?
So Kathmandu has been historically multicultural. It has been shaped by millennia-old migration, trade, and religious coexistence, and also syncretism. However, multiculturalism in place like Kathmandu is also quite asymmetrical. which means that while many different cultures are visible and present, some are more powerful and more visible. So while the people may interact, cultural interactions happens on a daily basis, but it may not be so fully at a political level. But Kathmandu is an interesting case because it has a long-standing history of coexistence, everyday multilingualism, and religious syncretism. Even festivals like Chhat and Losar, which now occupy public spaces and more visibility in Kathmandu, is a testament to Kathmandu's multiculturalism. But it does remain quite asymmetrical.
What does the business-driven visibility of Christmas in Nepal tell us about cultural recognition in this multicultural, diverse society that we live in?
So the Christmas celebration for people, besides the Christian communities, which are quite few in Kathmandu and in Nepal compared to the overall demographic diversity, it talks less about religious inclusion and more about market recognition. So it's a recognition via consumption, where mostly a Christmas is a season or a vibe rather than religious observance. The visibility is driven by consumption, and it aligns more with the customer culture rather than the Christian communities enjoying institutional recognition. It's also, in a way, for different communities, has become a secular lifestyle brand, and it offers a sense of global modernity.
Nepal's Election Commission has released a draft of the Election Code of Conduct for the upcoming House of Representatives election scheduled for March 5, seeking public's feedback. The Code of Conduct, new provisions for environmentally friendly green elections and requiring candidates to report on manifesto progress after winning while retaining all existing regulations. Subeksha Rajak brings more.
Complementing Nepal government's efforts to build amicable environment for the March 5 elections, the country's election body has finalized the Code of Conduct. The only change in the new Code of Conduct for the upcoming election is provisions related to green election, which the Commission has been campaigning. The Green Initiative prioritizes recyclable and environmentally friendly materials and giving preference to domestically produced election logistics. Additionally, candidates will also be required to disclose progress made on their manifestos after winning, a moral accountability measure aimed at strengthening trust with voters. Apart from these new inclusions, the Code of Conduct, which has been drafted and awaiting all-party endorsement, will have all earlier provisions.
आचार संहिताको मस्यौदा अन्तिम चरणमा पुगेको छ र आयोगले छिटै त्यसलाई पास गर्ने चरणमा पुगेको छ। निर्वाचनसँग सम्बन्धित 6 वटा कानुन हामीले यो कार्यविधि निर्देशिका भनौं, ऐन नियम त हामी चेन्ज गर्न सक्दैनौं। कार्यविधि निर्देशिकाहरू चाहिँ जारी भइसकेको छ, जुन आयोगको वेबसाइटमा पनि राखिसकिएको छ र यतापट्टि यो समानुपातिक तर्फको निर्वाचन अधिकृतको कार्यालय स्थापना भएर समानुपातिक प्रयोजनका लागि दल दर्ताको काम सकिएर यही 13 र 14 गते पौष 13 र 14 गते यो बन्द सूची पेश गर्ने कार्यक्रम राखिएको छ र त्यसका लागि यो निर्वाचन प्रतिनिधि सभा सदस्य निर्वाचन ऐन 2074 को अनुसूची 1 मा यो समानुपातिक प्रतिनिधित्व गराउने प्रयोजनका लागि परिवर्तन पनि भएको छ। सो अनुसार राजनीतिक दलहरूलाई अभिमुखीकरण गर्ने काम चाहिँ निर्वाचन आयोगले सम्पन्न गरिसकेको छ। यो बन्द सूची पेश गरिसकेपछि त्यसका चरणबद्ध कार्यक्रमहरू अगाडि बढ्नेछन्, जुन निर्वाचन कार्यक्रमको रूपमा हामीले आयोगको वेबसाइटमा प्रकाशन गरिसकेका छौं। त्यही अनुसार यी कार्यक्रमहरू अगाडि बढ्नेछन्।
These additional provisions in the Code of Conduct seek to ensure fair competition, control excessive spending, and reduce complaints about costly elections in an environmentally friendly manner. 6 procedural directives have already been issued and published on the Commission's website. As the preparations intensify, the Commission has already set up the Office of the Election Officer for Proportional Representation System. Party registration for proportional representation has already completed. For the first past-the-post system, chief election officers and their officers will be set up on January 16, 2026, with nomination papers to be filed on January 20, 2026. Election symbols will be distributed on January 23, 2026. As election environment ripens, so does the work of the Election Commission, which has been moving ahead adhering to the calendar.
Now, Nepal, that has a remarkable story on tiger conservation, has begun the census of the wild beast for the 5th time. Among many sanctuaries in the country, Bardia National Park in the southwestern plains is the largest and most undisturbed protected area for the Royal Bengal tigers. Rojina Rai, with our local correspondent Homendra Thapa, explains more on this matter.
Nepal's progress in tiger conservation is widely praised as a remarkable example in the world. This significant achievement was possible through effective management of water resources, strong security measures, and the active involvement of local communities in the buffer zones.
पानीको पनि राम्रो व्यवस्थापन छ र सुरक्षाको पनि राम्रो व्यवस्था छ र मध्यवर्ती क्षेत्रका जनताहरूले पनि बाघप्रति सकारात्मक सोच राखेको हुनाले यो चाहिँ अहिले बढेकै छ.
Continuing this commitment, Nepal is conducting its 5th tiger census in Bardia National Park, renowned as one of Asia's premier destinations for observing the rare and endangered Royal Bengal tiger. Based on recent trends, the number of tigers is expected to increase in the country following this census. Nepal has been conducting nationwide tiger census every 4 years since 2009. According to the 2022 census data, Bardia National Park is home to a total of 125 tigers. Overall, Nepal has made remarkable progress by tripling its tiger population from just 121 in 2010 to 355 in 2022. The chief of the National Trust for Nature Conservation, NTNC, in Bardia stated that the current tiger census will cover not only Bardia National Park but also the Khata, a vital biological corridor in the area. In addition, efforts are underway to install more camera traps in areas with high tiger activities to ensure accurate monitoring. The success of tiger conservation in Bardia National Park is not solely the result of park management but a collective achievement involving government agencies, conservation organizations, and active participation of local communities. Covering an area of 960 square kilometers in southwestern Nepal, it is home to rich and diverse range of flora and fauna.
Now, private airlines in Nepal have temporarily suspended flights between Pokhara and Jomsom in Mustang district due to low tourist demand and challenging winter weather. Summit Airlines and Tara Air cited risks of snowfall, strong winds, and the off-season drop in visitors as reasons for halting regular services. Tara Air has suspended flights from December 4th to 4th of March, while Summit Airlines has been grounded for the past 2 months. Charter and emergency helicopter services continue to operate. Officials also note that improved road connectivity along the Beni-Jomsom-Korola route has contributed to the decline in air travel. Mustang in Nepal's western Himalayas is a popular trekking and cultural destination, but winter conditions and seasonal travel patterns often limit flight operations. International news coming up next. For now, a quick look at our top stories once again. Nepal's Prime Minister Karki says she is trying her best to fulfill the responsibilities, emotionally appeals literates to write stories on her challenges. Nepal finalizes election code of conduct ahead of March 5 polls, introducing green initiatives and post-election accountability. Nepal's Tribhuvan University celebrates its 51st convocation, awards degrees to more than 16,000 graduates ranging from bachelor's to PhD programs. Christmas being celebrated around the world with much fanfare. Churches in Kathmandu hold midnight masses while neighborhoods lit up with colorful decorations. At least 20 killed in a road accident in Karnataka, India, after an oil tanker collided with a passenger bus on a main highway. And the match schedule for the NVL Men's and Women's Championship set to begin tomorrow in Kathmandu released. 20 teams contesting. Residents of Mogadishu, Somalia's capital, voted in local council elections for the first time in over 50 years, a historic milestone in the country's democratic process. Voting began at 6 a.m. local time today, with long lines forming as about 500,000 registered voters compete to fill 390 district council seats contested by roughly 1,605 candidates across 523 polling stations. Authorities deployed nearly 10,000 police officers and imposed a citywide lockdown, including restrictions on movement and flights to ensure security. While Mogadishu's safety has improved this year, the government continues to face threats from the Al-Qaeda-linked group Al-Shabaab, responsible for a major attack in October. President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud described the vote as a new chapter in the country's history, though the process is clouded by boycotts from opposition parties. Heavy rain and hail overnight caused severe flooding and damage across Bodrum in Turkey's Mughla province, disrupting daily life and traffic. Several streets and avenues were submerged, making travel difficult for residents and vehicles. The intense rainfall led to the collapse of a retaining wall at a two-story house, prompting authorities to evacuate 9 people from 4 households as a precaution. Floodwaters also affected homes and businesses, with residents working to pump out water while emergency teams assessed the damage. Authorities continue to monitor the situation and warn of potential risks as cleanup efforts continue. The incident highlights the region's vulnerability to sudden extreme weather events. Huge crowds welcomed aspiring Prime Minister Tariq Rahman back to Bangladesh after 17 years of self-imposed exile, greeting him with cheers and excitement at Dhaka airport. Rahman, the son of former Prime Minister Khalida Zia, is seen as the heir apparent of the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, BNP. Supporters described his return in fact, as a moment of immense joy, reflecting the significance of his comeback in the country's political landscape. Upon arrival, Rahman shook hands with party leaders and activists, signaling his renewed engagement in national politics. China says its expanding visa-free travel measures are fueling a significant rise in international visitors, with tourists from 76 countries eligible for full visa-free entry and citizens of 55 additional countries allowed visa-free transit for up to 10 days. Beijing's main airports report record arrivals, with thousands of travelers entering daily from Europe, the Middle East and Southeast Asia. Visitors are drawn to China's iconic attractions, including the Forbidden City, Great Wall, Shanghai skyline and Chengdu's famous giant pandas and cuisine. In the third quarter alone, China saw 178 million cross-border trips, a 13% year-on-year increase, with more than 7.2 million visa-free entries, up 48% from last year. Business news and sports update coming up after this short break.
As vegetable prices have skyrocketed, kitchens in Nepali households have become increasingly expensive. Vegetable prices this year have risen by nearly 300% compared to the same period of last year, according to traders in Kathmandu. Even the seasonal vegetables like cauliflower, radish, cabbage, and leafy greens have seen sharp price hikes due to reduced supply. Traders based in Kathmandu say cauliflower, tomatoes, carrots, and radish were sold at 30 to 35 rupees per kilogram during December last year, whereas this year their prices have climbed to as high as 120 rupees per kilogram.
खेतीपाती गर्ने कोही छैन अनि महँगो भइहाल्छ नि त पोहोर काउली त 30 रुपैयाँ किलो आयो पोहोरको उले त काउलीको भाउ आएन भने अहिले मान्छेले काउली नै रोपेनन् तरकारी लान अनि तरकारी लगाउने कृषकहरूले को कुरा सुन्दाखेरि हामीलाई त मोलै छैन भन्नुहुन्छ बीचमा कस्तो छ त्यो सरकारले मूल्याङ्कन गरेर सबैलाई बराबरी हिसाबमा सबैको चुलो तलदेखि माथिसम्मको चुलो बलोस्.
Consumers say the surge in prices of essential daily vegetables has made it difficult for low-income families. Consumers meanwhile have asked for effective monitoring as they blame lack of effective government's monitoring for the sharp rise in vegetable prices. Bank of Japan's Governor Kazuo Ueda had said the nation's underlying inflation is accelerating gradually and approaching the central bank's 2% target, reiterating the central bank's readiness to continue raising interest rates. He also preached the benefits of further rate rises, saying that adjusting the degree of monetary support will allow Japan to smoothly achieve 2% inflation and long-term economic growth. The remarks came in the wake of Bank of Japan's decision last week to raise interest rates to a 30-year high of 0.75%, another landmark step in ending decades of huge monetary stimulus and near-zero borrowing cost. British world giant BP has struck a $6 billion deal to sell a majority stake in its motor oil division Castrol to a US investment company. It sold a 65% stake in Castrol, which makes lubricants for cars, motorcycles, and industrial vehicles, to a New York-based Stonepeak. The deal valued Castrol at $10.1 billion with BP receiving $6 billion in cash, which it will use to pay down debts and allow it to focus on its core business. BP will hold on to a 35% stake in Castrol, which it first took control of in 2005. China's expanding visa-free travel policies have made it more convenient than ever for overseas visitors to come and experience the country, with the measures contributing to a remarkable rise in tourist arrival throughout the year. The expansion of the visa-free policies means that tourists from 76 countries are now able to benefit from unilateral or mutual visa-free entry to China, while the citizens of 55 further countries can visit China visa-free in transit for up to 10 days before traveling on to a third destination. China's tourism sector is projected to see strong growth this year thanks to the new policies. In the third quarter alone, cross-border trips reached 178 million, a nearly 13% increase year-on-year. Foreign nationals made more than 7.2 million visa-free entries during the same period, a remarkable 48% year-on-year rise, accounting for over 72% of all foreign arrivals.
Time now for sports update. The match schedule for the NVL Men's and Women's Championship, set to begin tomorrow in Kathmandu, has been released. The championship features 20 teams with women's matches in the morning sessions and men's matches in the afternoon. 4 matches will be played each day. The opening match will take place at 3 p.m. between Help Nepal and the departmental team Armed Police Force APF Club. In the men's category, 12 teams are divided into 4 groups, while the women's category features 8 teams across 2 groups. Following the league phase, quarterfinals will be held. The top 8 men's teams and top 6 women's teams from the championship will qualify for the Prime Minister's Cup NVL League. The final will be held on the 20th at the Tripureshwar Covered Hall in Kathmandu. Time now for a quick look at the weather, first from across Nepal and then from around the world. And before wrapping up, here's a look at the top stories once again. Nepal's Prime Minister Karki says she is trying her best to fulfill the responsibilities, emotionally appeals literati to write stories on her challenges. Nepal finalizes election code of conduct ahead of March 5 polls, introducing green initiatives and post-election accountability. Nepal's Tribhuvan University celebrates its 51st convocation, awards degrees to over 16,000 graduates ranging from bachelor's to PhD. Christmas being celebrated around the world with much fanfare. Churches in Kathmandu hold midnight masses while neighborhoods lit up with colorful decorations. At least 20 killed in a road accident in Karnataka, India after an oil tanker collided with a passenger bus on a main highway. And the match schedule for the NVL Men's and Women's Championships set to begin tomorrow in Kathmandu released. 20 teams contesting. That is all for the moment here on NTV World News Hour. Do join us through our social media pages and also visit our website nepaltelevision.com for more updates. I'm Sarah Sapsanamarai. Thanks for joining us. Merry Christmas.